Sold. And look, ever since his, I think it was AGO that he was on, ever since his AGO days coming into OG, it felt like maybe he's lost some of the luster that was initially associated with him, but he's still a very good role player when it comes down to it, and it does feel like that's one of the reasons why we've seen him persevere through and through. Now, one of the things about OG that's kind of cool to me is this has become a team that's quietly not terrible at finding young talent and whatnot as well, right? You know, Lambert's been able to do a lot for them, but we're gonna have to see whether Adam B is that right replacement. Like you said, does maybe some expectations not being met, but let's see whether or not they can do it over here against Iberian Soul on Inferno. It'll be Iberian Soul on the T side who are looking for property, Michael. They're doing some shopping in apartments.
Yeah, and well, they realize it's free real estate, but it's a bit of a fixer-upper, so they may not actually commit to the apartments, but the fact they've cleared it is a good way to start, setting some good map control, and they can also peer right down deep B and see that there's actually no presence being shown here by OG here either. Spook taking a shot, but he'll be able to fall back no problems. They don't have anything that can stall on util. You know, when these rounds drag out as long as this on pistols, you can kind of be flying blind if you don't move in for aggression. And Mopos is the one that makes that first move. Adam B dead at the end of the apartments, but OG are still committing to this 2-2 split.
Well, Ficus are leaning away a little bit more, and Iberian Soul with 35 seconds left don't really have an easy pathway out towards the B-bomb side. They will have to contest with Spook when they have a smoke. So if Mopos ends up smoking out CT, Spook has an opportunity over here to pick up a couple of heads and make this a doable retake. If he dies without a kill, it goes without saying this is going to be a nearly impossible round. CT smoke comes out with flashbang. Spook will be avoiding it all. First kill is good. Repeaks back over and Sauceall trades. This gives OG very little time to be able to actually rotate over. They won't be able to set up a boost either behind the smoke, anything like it. No spam damage coming through. Post-spawn positions looking good right now from the Spanish side.
Yeah, they need these kills quick. No kits either here for OG. Curzon will be the one to lead the way, but they're still being very hesitant about their approach. They're hoping to get a free one before the actual retake comes in. Curzon finally deals with that player inside of Hobbit, and just unable to wrangle the kill at Dark. These kills aren't coming in quite fast enough. Alex at the back of the site finds both, and in that flurry of frags, the in-game leader leads, and the pistol taken from the clutches of defeat.
I mean, honestly, when you see that first kill going down with Davigi falling, Nikoros is covering up that late secret peek that he's expecting Alex to end up taking and whatnot as well. Alex completely fine with losing out his banana player as well. He realizes he can't really particularly help him at all when the swing is coming through. I can't believe he gets those last few kills in the end. That is one of the things that's always been so cool about Alex. You know, especially if you're going back maybe 2-3 years, more than recent history. He does get his numbers up. He does have his moments like this. It's not like his mechanics are going to be, you know, with all love and respect to someone like Hooksy or a Carrigan, Alex is definitely someone who's known for being able to frag with the rest of his team.
Yeah, kind of. That's why the replacement for Hampus, for example, on NIP actually didn't seem that unreasonable as well, because Hampus is another sort of fragging in-game leader. Gets his numbers in slightly different ways, but the numbers are comparable.
Yeah. We're all about the digits here.
I will note.
Deep progression for. Go ahead.
Sorry, I will note that, you know, as much as Alex did find those both those kills on B in that pistol, he actually didn't need to fight. They didn't have time to defuse anyway, because they took too long for the retake. So hoping that's
Michael,
not a trend.
Do you want headshots or not?
I mean, I do.
Are you a Counter-Strike enjoyer, Michael?
I'm just noting it as a potential trend to notice if OG go for these later retakes.
It could be a trend that they end up walking into stacks very often as well. Right now they have 4 pistols here on middle. Adams found himself the first one. It recedes backwards. There's no one in apartments. That's what he's worried about. Mopos and Alex play control, but with Adam recovering that MP9, he peeks back in. Alex takes him down. Prison comes back in, a quick kill found, but no weapons to be recovered, and Smooya through the smoke will be able to take him down. Iberian Soul, despite almost walking into a stack, great protocols. They let OG peek into them, and they take it home.
Yeah, they're playing a patient game so far, from the pistol to this anti-force buy. Like you said, bleeding that clock and kind of waiting to see what OG would do. It comes down to that 35-second mark, and sure, Iberian Soul the ones that take that first contact, but they only really spot one player at first, and so they keep swinging middle to try and hard clear it, and they just get chewed apart by the rifles. Little funny moment there for Prison when he was in that 1v3 is that he tried to pick up a rifle using E and he just swapped out for another 5.7 instead. So.
He didn't have more ammo though.
It didn't matter. He got shot in the smoke anyway.
Well, you know, I said it might be a trend that they start walking into stacks. It might be a trend that they keep destroying them as well. Mopo's very clean headshot to come through on the first one. He's hunting for more. A little bit less armor, but still some punch with the Deagles that OG have invested into. These Deagles are going to come back to haunt them, if I'm being honest. If you can't find at least a kill or two over here, take a few rifles out of the Iberian Soul hands, it feels like they're going to be missing utility for absolutely no reason. Woo! Oh. That's what I want to see. Kristen comes in with a twofer.
Yeah, they got scared of that very quickly. Kristen gets his 2 kills, but he's now getting shot on the rotate. Should be an easy enough cleanup here for Smooya. A rifle has been recovered, so may not want to go chasing too quickly. Not until that bomb has been properly secured. The timer's gone a little bit further, so you know that you've guaranteed the round win. Don't want to give OG a way back in.
Yeah. I thought it'd be a very comfortable anti-eco round. I was like, wow, this is a really good job. And then Kristen comes out, pop, pop. Nicely done. Galil as well to be picked up. This is going to end up being incredibly successful for OG if they manage to save this. In Iberian Soul, like you said, maybe a little bit fair coming in. It feels unlikely that they're going to go hunting too heavily. Even if they do, it's a very cornered in safe position for Spook and Adam. They're not taking any risks.
Yeah, it would just be Smooya that goes to hunt. There shouldn't be any help going his way. And so you can see him separating from the rest of the gang, seeing if he can upgrade his MAC-10 and also stop OG from getting 3 rifles. And Ab's already low HP, so that MAC-10 scares him further into church.
Terrorists win.
Luke is watching out for the wrong angle, but he is cornered away. Smooya will not be able to find any of these rifles. Very successful round coming out from OG, and all of those concerns I had about, you know, utility, this and that. Well, Kristen just bought an off for Nikodos, so I guess they don't matter anymore.
Yeah, he got those 2 kills, and it's enough. He'll have armor. I mean, the rifle that's recovered as well. I think without the courtesy of those rifles saved, then they actually wouldn't have this ult for this first buy, so see if it's that first domino that starts to topple things here for Iberian Soul. 3 straight. He does have an ult of his own.
Kristen also has the most deadly weapon you can save on the CT side. A T-side Molotov. Spook, however, forced away from his angle, will be giving up brackets without really contending with it. There's only 2 players on the same bomb site, so if Iberian Soul want to start moving in faster, this would be the time. David G certainly investigating that possibility. Kristen relays over a lot of that utility, but in shuffling it, it does cause a slightly worse timing. Now, David G doesn't push forward. The flashbang will allow Kristen to peek as well. Nice protocol. Secondary flashbang to come through. It'll sail deep, so Smooya will have the angle, but he gives it up early on. Nice peek from Smooya. Regardless, finds Kristen turning around. Deep grenade. Iberian Soul will have already backed off. They are fiddling with OG right now. This is a masterclass from Iberian Soul.
Look at the re-aggression. Ziku, a chance. Nades were drawn, and damage is good downrange. Nikonos has the tight line on the ult, but the flash catching him. And Iberian Soul are actually ahead of that incendiary, but only via 1 player. Smooya is still re-investigating in through brackets and has backup coming his way as well. They're just bouncing between these bomb sites. Smooya, the first kill's easy, but jumping around the corner, not prepared. Adam B able to get 2 kills as a result. 2 on 3. Ziku past the smoke, but Alex deals with him, and this will be a call to save here for Nikodos. You're right on the money. Iberian Soul were toying with OG in these rotates.
Credit out to Smooya, man. I mean, both those kills are so incredibly important. The second one, it felt like he should have died, of course. 6 HP, whatever. It's a great adjustment to come through. The first one, though, is what really unlocks the round. They take advantage of the fact that, oh, Nico, hey, buddy, there's a MAC-10. Yes, you're going to live. All right. That's fine. But they really take advantage of the fact that OG are stacking so many players out towards that B-bomb site early on. I do also wonder if Smooya gives the call himself to try and peek out towards long when Davi G already has that space. He feels like he's cleared out Cubby and whatnot. It's nicely done, man.
It's also just a good understanding of what was happening. I mean, a flash from pit to to Moto. I mean, you hear the flash pop at Moto, and then you see this secondary flash sail out from deep. He's expecting a player in Library from that point, and he just happens to catch this good timing of Crizin trying to cheat out past Library and play it a proper 3-man setup inside the A site proper. So it's just good forecasting, but OG were trying desperately to plug up a gap as they lost Bracken's control far earlier than they anticipated given the 3B start. There's been a couple of issues so far for OG. The late retake attempt, and then also leaving a vulnerability that's kind of too difficult to compensate for.
Good protocols coming out from Iberian Soul to make sure that Nikodos is not feeling comfortable taking and holding that angle. He is pushed away. He'll start to rotate back to the A bomb side. So Iberian Soul have about 10 seconds or so if they want to put pressure onto short. They've largely been good about this, so Nikodos is worried, right? He's going to be very slow in his progression back out over. The flash from OG is there to fake out Library presence again, but you do wonder if Iberian Soul are going to read into this. Nikodos is swinging around the corner. There's a boost set up for Alex as well. He's going to find Nikodos. That is perfectly played. It is Adam B to push into his own demise. Am I watching Astralis 2018 or something? What's going on here?
Yeah, the skill difference shouldn't be that high between these two teams, but Iberian Soul are just, you know, they're pulling off some cute tricks. They're playing good on the clock, and they're hitting some nice shots as well. So OG just feel that one step behind almost consistently. The calling is looking really solid here from Alex.
Oh. All right, I'm sold. Bring out the Astrology jerseys.
Terrorists win.
Yeah,
They got nade kills. They got perfect calling on Inferno T side. What more do I want?
yeah. I mean, the boost on long is kind of it's a cute idea, but it's just the fact that they basically only just set it up, and then immediately Nikodos walks the corner. That's how you know you're in their head somehow. And this is the thing as well, you know, as much as I feel like I've been a fair minority Nikodos, not doubter, but, you know, I've critiqued his play in some of the rosters he's been in. Even with Copenhagen Flames and their major run, you know, he definitely had moments where he seemed like a weak link, and it was something that I thought he'd have to develop past that. Since he's joined OG, when he stood in for them for some of these CCT events, Nikodos has been on fire. I can't even, you know, begin to deny that. He's actually been like a huge reason why this roster has kind of regained some relevance, and it's also something that kind of cannot afford to go missing in this qualifier, because some of these other teams are also on similar sort of hot streaks with roster moves of their own.
Apartment is having a little bit of playground moment. Banana is much the same. This is a deadly playground though. Mopos is trying to dodge out with whatever nade damage he can. Still maintains control. Spook likely going to start pushing through. Now, OG has half bought into this one, Michael, so they will have a buy in the next round regardless. Nikodos is just trying to hold up the position. Molotov Flash is coming over. Iberian Soul are looking good to clean this one out. This is the thing about Nikodos, like, I completely agree with you, but this is also why I'm happy that, you know, a team like OG actually gave him a chance.
Sure.
So Soul will be waiting for this double pass. MP9s, they get the kill, they get the rifle, and if Dabby G can't deal with that...
Why is Mopo still running around with a Glock?
He doesn't want his rifle sticking out of the smoke, or something, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on, but I know it's going wrong.
I'm so confused.
Crizin now has an opportunity to end this round. He can go through the smoke with a flashbang, and considering that things could go very well for him, should even one player be blinded, this could be trouble. Spook tosses out that flashbang. Crizin will not be able to find anyone blind, and as a result of that, suddenly chances are looking a little bit worse. Smeo can cover off the cross. Alex has no reason to peek, so it should be game over regardless. But a lot more damage than they wanted. It's okay. Mopos will take the good and the bad.
It's just hilarious because he was running around with a Glock because he knew they were on 5.7s. he had an AK, and I think he was just entering, but he also didn't want to give them a rifle. That's about as much as what made sense. But it's just a bit comedic because they had tons of money. Like, it's not, there shouldn't be any consolations. They weren't on an eco. They're 6 rounds straight. They would have no reason to justify it. Mopo's just decides that's the best course of action. And again, some nice kills coming out from Smooya in that round gone by. An exchange of util over to Banana at the start of this round, and it's a bit of a tennis match. Very back and forth and trading kind of evenly, but Mopo's taking damage via the spam.
Oh no, Prison is lost.
Out of the smoke into the flame. He takes a dink through the wall, but it only does 3 damage.
Well, we made up for it.
That one does a lot more.
Dig is blind, Dig is out. He calls Nikodos over. Nikodos will have the HE grenade to be able to pop open the smoke if he wants to as well, but this is going to be a lot of utility coming over the way of Figu. He is in new box. Possibly the most Molotov angle in pretty much any site in Counter-Strike. He's watching out for a repeat though. 54 seconds. Largely Iberian Soul have been committing around that 38 mark. So if OG was going to look for information, it might not have been a bad time. Smooya, however, is going to continue hard scoping forward. Figu's position is good. He will be spotted though. Smooya is clearing everything out. That's so nicely done. The re-smoke on Coffin as well. And although the HE will blow up in the smoke, Iberian Soul are ready in these post plots. It feels like this was meant to be, Michael.
Another tag from Smooya, and it's a tag and bag. Alex able to combo for 2, and Iberian Soul are just simply too damn good on Inferno.
Somebody get these guys an organization.
It's just crazy to see just how easily they're picking OG apart. I think that's what's really harrowing about the way that these rounds have started. From the positional play and the rotates that they're constantly doing on this T side to keep them on their toes. From the patience and reading into the sort of unsettled nature of OG. But then the most impressive piece, I think, has been actually just the timing on their util. Because they're catching OG just as they reaggress, or just as they're about to swing a corner, or just react to a Molotov. There's a flash. I mean, how many times have we seen OG full flashed on this banana take? I'd wager every single time they've tried to fight for top banana control, the first player has been full blind, if not both of them.
And if you're not full blind, you're being shot through walls, you're being grenaded down, you've got a Molotov behind you, so you feel like you have to push forward, right? Like, you are being completely funneled into the angle that Iberian Soul want you.
Yeah, and you can understand why, you know, OG are kind of playing a little timid, a little tepid. They had 3 players on B, for example, to kind of try and address that previous execute. But because they don't try and push for anything, they kind of just fall victim to a very patient Smooya AWP. Now, this position from Adam B is very unconventional. It should result in a free kill, but trying to get more than one could be complicated. Adam B, yeah, his escape covered. So it's a 1-for-1. Nikodos had a chance, but didn't pull the trigger.
Opportunity gone now. Spook is going to be looking to reclaim, but his eagle shots are painting the wall. I didn't realize he was so good with a paintbrush. Not as good with a eagle.
This is a little tough to watch, Smooya. A little poor timing there, but the Prison Mag 7 actually doesn't do anything. And the Deke of Fiku doesn't take him down, but there's a clean kill.
It's incredibly low on the Iberian Soul side. The unfortunate thing is that Kristen has a Max 7 instead of an MP9 or something like it. Otherwise, if he could have just run at them, there's a world where something goes wrong, yada, yada, yada. And I know that I sound like I am, you know, hoping for something a little bit ridiculous. Oh, something going wrong, this and that. He doesn't have a kill. He's gonna die here, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead. It's a Vino plant.
It's a corner. Yeah, it's a corner plant. So, yeah. Well, 8-0. OG now have Alex 10 and 2. Rather, Iberian Soul have Alex 10 and 2. Smooya on 10 and 1. This is a power duo right now.
Yeah, Smooya's probably speaking through the microphone. Alex, why'd you ever let us separate?
You better be whispering sweet nothings to him right now, and that could go both ways, whichever he you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's running it back, and They're doing a whole lot of running, that's for sure. Mopoj tries to run it back himself, but does get taken down. This time Fiku not flashed on that first fight. Kristen actually looking to take more duels over at Cars. Davigi is completely trapped, and his 1-6 start goes one worse.
We are looking to reclaim. Spook will be able to push him away, but as he drops down, there was a window where maybe he could have fallen. That window's been found. Sawsall crashes right through it. It's a bad John Wick adaptation, but listen, I'm not hating it. Quick little crossover. The site still has a man to be careful about. That man is gone. You're back to a 3 versus 3, but only for about half a millisecond. Nikoros will find Smooya, but this disadvantage is workable. 2 versus 3 with a bomb down. Hell yes, you take that. Molotov will try to push Alex away, but Alex was already moving backwards. That HE grenade reveals his position. He wants to fight. He wants to close the gap, but Krisen's closing him instead. Sawsall, off angle is good. Cannot collect on the last 2 players, though. So despite Iberian Soul still finding good headway, OG will find their first round.
Yeah, I mean, a fantastic job of, shutting down this B aggression that has been actually just a continual thorn in the OG side. Them getting both Davi and Mopoj did force Iberian Soul to try and make some kind of counter move into brackets, but also kind of shout out Sawsall, because he almost recovered the round in its entirety. The urgency to fight into short, just the pathing alongside the Moto smoke. He understood exactly what he was going to do, and he found 2 quick kills that made the round feasible. OG are just glad it didn't end up blowing up in their face, and that they finally got around to their name, so maybe this is a sign of things to come.
Well, Fiku is already out in Banana, deep as can be. He's gone through Molotov, through a smoke, and he's had a teammate throw some fire on his side just to heat him up while he's at it.
Even ate a team flash, so he was blind as a bat just the whole time he was running down to bottom Banana, but they have ascertained control.
Molly's good. That Molly's going to be putting Fiku in a more difficult position. Nikoros flashed off the angle. Mopos reads him like a book.
It's the only place he could be.
Yeah. That's what the advantage of all this utility is. And now Nikoros is hunting for a Mopos who is just hidden away. He knows he needs to stay alive. That's all. All in the meanwhile, it'll be a 4 versus 3 on the A-bomb site. OG are inevitably going to want to look for information. The A site's the only. What are you doing, Mopos? What are you doing to them? Krisen will fall. Spook's the only one to get a kill. OG feel like they don't even have a chance. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, they just got picked apart by a one-man wrecking crew.
Like, I don't know if you remember, but we once casted a big game. I think it might have been versus, like, Bad News Eagles or something. And on Inferno, it felt like every peak that Big took, the enemy team was just flat. Every single time, or they were just pushed into a crosshair. They just didn't feel like they had any agency.
Sure.
That's what I feel like right now. And sure, some of these late rounds end up being sloppier. You're losing weapons that maybe you shouldn't be. But at the end of the day, you still keep an eye up. You're still looking for the hunt. You've got lots of money on this T side. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with you that, all of the moves that Iberian Soul are making are just kind of the perfect response, but there is also a couple of these moments where, as much as Fiku running down bottom Banana and tucking himself into that corner was kind of funneled into a fight, he's able to shoot first in that instance. He hears the sound cues the whole way. It's there are a couple of these moments where it does come down to there are individual inflection points that are simply not being met by OG right now. If they are going to silence or actually stop Iberian Soul from kind of playing within their own tempo, they need to be hitting those shots and finding those key moments, and they're just simply not connecting. And, I kind of feel for Nikodos in a way, but he left himself vulnerable to an angle and just hoped that it wouldn't be the case.
I don't feel for Nikodos at all. Fantastic flashes, man.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he got flashed off and then...
Oh, you mean the Mopos shot. Yeah,
he got flashed off to help Fiku, and then he retook the angle, and he just didn't think that there was any way that Mopos could have crossed the logs, for example, so...
Well...
Iberian Soul have a lot of will, and where there's a will, there's a way.
There's a lot of ways. maps are suggesting 7 different routes, and they all end with a victory. It's only a question of how fast are you going to get there. That's what it feels like. Can OG create a barrier? Can they stop this Scar from rolling all over them? 3 rounds is a must if you want to even have a conversation on that road. But look at how passive they are out towards Banana. This time, Iberian Soul, after having control over the last 2 rounds or so, they will be getting aggressive. Nopos might be low, but he's getting ready to go in regardless. A Molotov, which won't do too much. A smoke that blooms too late. Crizzen, while blind, will pick up the second. And Fiku's rounded about on shore. But this is the 4 versus 3, a big advantage for OG to come into, especially when you consider how much utility they have. A shot from Smoothie is certainly not great either, but Soul's come through. Gets the compensation out. Incendiary grenade, everything's going back towards the sandbags, but Smoothie is the one we've got our eyes out on. Prison will be pushing forward. Smoothie, another missed opportunity. Sosol's the one picking them all up. Davigi as well collects where Smoothie neglects that shot. And as Prison is hunting for a man unleashed, it is Davigi with 3 in this round. Might not have been having quite as fantastic of a game as the rest of his team, but this round is great from him.
Yeah, even the quote-unquote weak link up until this point is pulling off some nice multi-kills. I mean, Davigi has always been actually great in sort of mid-round moments like that, where you can kind of allow him to work around cover. I mean, the trading was good there for Iberian Soul. Even if they 50-50'd on the wrong angle, it is still... It keeps on coming up Iberian Soul's way. The Molotov of Soul, even dealing with the 1 player inside of the apartments, and they know another one's there. HE to try and track him down, but Kristen's still surviving on 20 HP. He might just end up spammed. Nikadol's dead in a smoke. Kristen's still just boxed in, and that B-bomb site is just wide open for business. So this is looking like an 11-1 is guaranteed.
There's going to be an awkward halftime break, I can tell you that much, but it's coming over here. 1-11 for OG on their new roster debut. They've got a lot to talk about. We're going to lead them to it. We'll be back in just a bit. Stay tuned, guys. Can Iberian Soul close this out? Who knows? of the most dominant performances I have seen from Iberian Soul ever. And I do include when they were Movistar, I do include when it was CSGO, I include everything. This is a fantastic showing, and you wouldn't believe that Iberian Soul are ranked 45 compared to OG's 30 in the world right now. They are playing like they are here to finish this map off very quickly. 11-1, this pistol round, well, this game is very heavily tilted in their favor.
Yeah, that's really saying something. Gotta win this pistol, OG. It's also me just saying things that are deeply obvious. Mopo's dead. Alex at the back doesn't get cleared, but he also whiffs everything, and that seems to be... I mean, it seems to just be an illness for all the Iberian Soul players. None of them could really hit any of the heads, and OG take the site quite simply.
Is OG the GOAT?
They're so back.
They're so back, baby.
They got that dog in them, and you can't spell dog without OG.
Well, I'm not gonna give the obvious implication of what that's missing, but yeah. Listen, we obviously have to remind the viewers about what's sort of going on. You know, game number 1. Inferno, it's Iberian Soul's map pick. We're expected to maybe be at least somewhat favored in it, but you know, we're thinking, hey, maybe they're smooth. They haven't played with him in a very long time. 2021 is when he was last on the Spanish core. Hey, they've hit things off swimmingly. After this will be Ancient, which is OG's own map pick, which as we discussed a little bit, they have had some troubles on at times. You know, at least that's what the numbers would say. The few times I've watched them, they've destroyed some of my favorite teams in the world. So you know, I'm maybe biased about what I think about OG's Ancient performances, but hopefully it's going to be a bit more competitive than what we've had so far in Inferno.
Yeah, I'd like to think so as well. I mean, we understood that both of them were making roster moves, or are kind of in the midst of roster moves. Iberian Soul have not landed on a 5th. They're just using Smuya, who is a familiar face and, you know, quite skilled, as it has been demonstrated so far in this map. And the addition of Adam B was something that I was trying to sort of hype up coming into this game. And, you know, so far it's been, if we're looking at players that are trying to drive initiative, it's actually just been, like, Fiku, really. That's been trying to take, you know, more aggressive duels. Krizen himself actually is kind of trying to lead from the front. And that's something that I've seen him do many times before. But I actually expected, because Adam B was kind of playing as this sort of entry headstrong rifler in Metasport, that would be a skill that they try to transfer and utilize as much as possible coming into this season. But maybe because the addition is so new, they're also not adjusting all their positions or adjusting who's doing what just yet, and it's not looked good so far, but there's chances to turn it around.
While we have a pause, I'd actually like to bring up the Nikos conversation again, because it reminded me of something funny which happened a couple of months ago, which was when OG announced, oh my god, no, the pause has ended. I'll try to speed through it inside. When OG announced that they were benching Moto, I actually tweeted out that I really hope that they'd pick up someone like Assertion, because this was when OG was like ranked 75 in the world or something. They were doing really badly. I remember you messaging me like, but why? And then I was like, hey, but you know, like, obviously, there's operas who we've seen dominate online, who we've seen dominate, like, Tier 3 Counter-Strike, especially. And sure, maybe they struggle coming into Tier 1, but OG right now need that level up. And it was really cool to see them go for something like that, you know, in a Nikodos, who probably has more reliability and whatnot. You know, Sursen mostly playing in German lineups and everything.
Yeah.
So it was, I was just like, hey, this is kind of fun to see. But now they are back into that top 30-ish area, where I think most people would agree they're about, you know, 25 to 30 in the world or so. Now it starts to become about, hey, maintain and develop a little bit more.
Yeah. It's funny, we had so many conversations about qualifications and making enough VRS points, but we've actually seen quite a few rosters, even NIP, for example, who are probably the most vocal about the VRS limitations, are in that top 30 invites sort of conversation as well. So
yeah,
the system is working, but you might find yourself a season behind, which I think will rub some people the wrong way. Still the force buy here for Iberian Soul. It's going to be an A execution. Mopo's actually through the smokes, but also similarly to the pistol, just cannot quite wrangle a kill. It's also Does distract though, and that's the bomb drop at the feet of Smooya.
What
And
up?
between Sorsol and Smooya, they are absolutely destroying this rap attempt on the site. It's Spook left in a 1v3, and he just gets run down by that MP9 all the same. That may be the final curtain call here for OG.
I mean, this is unexpected to say the least
Yeah.
after Mopos lifts that one out. But listen, Smooyans also, man, it's this is so good. Fuck. I don't know, man. I've got nothing else to say. It's a crossfire. He had an MP9. The other guy has a 5.7. 5.7 at one of the longest ranges in Inferno, just getting headshots. MP9's doing its thing. Yeah. Okay.
Iberian Soul with a bit of sauce.
Oh, is it like Caribbean food? Mopos will be able to get a little bit more success, but not that much more. 12-2 feels like 13's around the corner with Fiku and 2 HP and OG down a man regardless. Alex, legendary should be going down, will not be going down. It's a smoke instead. Davig is able to find a kill through it. Alex is hoping to finish things off, and now Davig is here to play. OG will take a knee. 13-2. Iberian Soul have dominated them, and I've got to say, man, shout out to their ex, because Smooya's really quite a man.
Yeah, actually, maybe you should have called him that whole time. I mean, a 13-2 score is incredibly dominant from Alex popping off to Sorsol sort of rising through the ranks in the early stand-ins with the roster, but also his continual play with them. He's been playing great, but he was the lowest performer and basically just couldn't find any ways to find impact in that Inferno, even from like starting AWP picks or, you know, control takes that they tried to run with that AWP. It just seemed like he was so inconsequential.
Whoa.
So, no, we're not into the round. We're not into the round. It's fine. We're still in the warm-up.
I just saw I do think there's also an element of we have to remind the viewers about how Iberian Soul is winning. 32 is a really obvious one, but they were out utilitying them at every single place, right? HEs, Molotovs, flashes, everything was perfect, good funnels and whatnot, and then they were also out aiming them, right? So it was just this collaboration of success in ways that I probably haven't seen from Iberian Soul pretty much ever before. There's very few tier 2 teams who I have seen this from in general. So, you know, maybe this can be OG telling nah, that's just a one-up. It's all right. Let's just get back into it. But this pistol round has to go well for them. You want to start off in the right foot. Right now, it's Luke who's going to be chasing forward. Smooya takes that peek right down B lane. Davy G's with him, but he's been tagged down. There's 4 players from the CTs in middle, so it'll be a fast defense of B if you want to rotate over. But that rotation will come after the bomb's already been dialed in. Spook's still staying back. He can threaten the flank on a cave rotator should there be one, but tags are coming back to Adam B and Fiku. Smooya slows it down. Fiku speeds it up, and he is speeding up there. That's all right. He's gonna continue just tagging forward, forcing that kid away, and all in the meanwhile, there's duels taking place in the back lines in B ramp. It's Nikoros who's found one and hunts for more as Adam B pushes through. Smooya's left alone. A 1 versus 2 with 2 kills already on him, but the kid too far off. So he'd rather try and save his Kevlar. And I think, by God, he might have just done it. He's found the one spot in Ancient where you don't take damage.
Yeah, I mean, a nice reaction there from OG. They kind of realized that Iberian Soul were going to flood and overload mid on that pistol and recognized and hit the weaker bomb site. Mopos didn't really want to stand his ground and try and take duels because he had that kit smoke for a late round situation, but they never really get into positions where they can make use of it. So, already jump starting the engine. OG, of course, did win the T-side pistol on Inferno as well, only to get, you know, upset in the force buy. So they'll simply hope that that doesn't strike again. But this Iberian Soul squad, it is nice that they're playing with a good amount of temperance. I mean, it felt like on Inferno they were reading everything OG wanted to do before OG even did it, and you know, whether or not that's Alex and the calling that he's pulling forward, or whether that's the influence as well of their coach in DeLong, that's, you know, kind of to be determined, or I guess it's at their discretion. But either way, they had good information and they played very well. You see if they have that same recognition of the capabilities and the instincts of OG on Ancient as well. Flank timing for a spook is actually very nice. Looks to check it, and the MP9 at distance does a lot of damage. Doesn't quite wrangle the kill, but Smooya does at least collect on that final that frag. Mopo's getting wrapped in from both sides. They don't clear for him, and so Mopo's comes away with a double upgrade to the AK, but on 17 health. He may think to save, but he could also potentially win this with a clever reposition.
I thought for a second we're going to see a repeat of what happened in Inferno after OG win the T-side pistol round, but no, it's not quite as bad. The flank, sure, is not successful, but at least the rest of OG is able to find success. I'm surprised Mopos is still revealing position here, if I'm being honest, but maybe just hoping that he can make them think twice about coming over to CT to try and save or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even about that. If he got a kill early enough in that retake, I mean, 17 health is obviously not great, but if he brings it down to a one-on-one, that's great damage, but also he has the capacity to win the one-on-two there. So he tried to reposition, take a cheeky angle, and catch a player off, and once he failed to do that, yeah, now it's a save. So twice a CT will take Sanctuary in T-spawn.
The thing is that Mopo's actually, with the 2 kills he gets with the MP9, he can actually buy a fair bit of utility around this as well and just drop it over to his teammates. So if you're looking for more damage on OG's economy, this would be the time. Davig at MP7 is probably not what he wants. He does sell it back. Any utility being dropped? No, they'd rather just prioritize it out maybe, but the tactical timeout being used very early on just for this decision.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of, clever ideas of what they could do with Moposh given his spawn. And
you could also buy, to be honest. Like, Moposh can drop an M4, Smooya on the Falmas, 3 rifles. It's not awful.
Yeah. They're going to opt for that line.
This is pretty respectable all in all. You have a fair bit of utility as well. If you showed me this buy and said this was the 7th round with a, kind of full buy situation, I'd believe you.
Depending on the scoreline, I'd maybe even call it desperate. But I do like the idea of keeping that pressure applied, because OG may just think, we're going up against one rifle. We may not have to worry so much about what the other guns entail, but the initial volley of util from Iberian Soul is a bit of an indicator that there is at least some investment put forward on the defense.
You at least think about the possibility when there is a tactical timeout in round number 3, I suppose. A lot of good HG damage being dealt, though. This time over, it is OG to be the ones to be deploying it. Alright, that could have been deadly. Not quite so much. Smoke timing is good, and that'll give OG a bit of a clue about the kind of bind that is coming their way as well. There is at least a level of investment. They're just not sure what it is yet. Davig has full control over A main, so you might see Iberian Soul reinforce B, just go for a gamble stack, say, hey, you know what, if we lose this one, it's alright, we've got 3 rifles. We're okay with taking it.
I wouldn't be surprised if, just off the smoke, instant boost on long. I mean, they're in a great position to try and make use of it, but Alex gets ahead of the smoke at long, tries to play close to the ramp smoke instead, and OG are going to try and burst through it.
And well, they're just going to shoot through it first. Forget about going forward. It's Smooya who's trying to find damage with the M4. This is a lot of damage, but not a lot of kills. Davig sure wishes he was here to deploy that grenade of his, but he's unfortunately going to be late on the flank. Still, further damage is going to be insufficient. These 2 M4s are looking to save. That is really nice from OG, actually. Great anti-force spy / eco protocol.
Well, at least find a rifle that now makes it a 3 rifle save. So what they buy in, they may be able to scrape out into the following round. And once again, we'll kind of put it in a position where Iberian Soul actually can invest, but more substantially. And OG will make no desperate effort to take these rifles away. So 3 rounds straight, another one of these B-side finishes, and this time off of the execute. Just good presence of mind, I think, is the important piece. I mean, they get their util out for the execute, but that smoke is kind of not fading as soon as maybe they had anticipated, and so by spamming close, they find the entries they need.
And Iberian Soul, the only sacrifice that they have going into this round is a little bit of utility and Smooya's AWP that he will not be able to afford now. That sacrifice makes a difference or not. Nice quick jump for Smooya. Takes the full peek out. He will have a great angle to find the first. Boop's gone. Fiku with a flashbang. That might be delayed, but Smooya can't punish it at all. Daviji's still worried about the flank, but now it's all Fiku. 3 kills on the man, and Iberian Soul. Well, you know that save you went for last round. Go for it again.
Still hovering around and will deny Mopoj any safe passage out from ledge. Had that kill gone quickly for Mopoj, there could have been an incentive. I mean, there wasn't a lot of util here for Iberian Soul. But if OG had overstepped, could have been punished. Simply not to be. Crimson will finally be felled. But OG are happy with the way things are going so far. They're getting the entries they want, they're getting the space they desire. And they're bouncing back quite well from the 13-2 thrashing on Inferno.
Terrorists win.
I'll even deny Alex's save. So, I mean, I have to say, I think that the tempo of that mid take and what they were doing, everything kind of felt right there for Iberian Soul, but they were doubled up watching the smokes, and even though they were on a 3 mid take, and there was still a smoke on elbow, it is kind of peculiar to me that the players on mid floor actually weren't able to support or provide any extra help to Smooya after the flash. Maybe getting caught at an awkward time.
Maybe they turned around and got flashed as well?
Yeah, sure. There's always that as well.
This is the thing about being a caster. Sometimes you have to be a little bit results oriented, because Iberian Soul, after all of those fun, smart buys and saves and everything, are now down 0-4, likely 0-5. Nikodos, quick clear, and Smooya's been spotted.
Well, they will find the trades. Take possession of Cave as well. Also will try and press the boundaries, however. Spook hitting behind the doors. Adam B not quite close enough by to guarantee that trade so easily. And Alex will get his one and dip out. Doesn't actually pick up the M4 on his path out, and the spam from Chrisen is very well timed. Alex thought he had a bit of safety, a bit of time to reset, and then all of a sudden he gets shot in the back. But it now might end up becoming a foot race. A reposition, a substantial one at that here from OG through spawn, back the other way. And they could go and reroute back to mid. But no, they're just opting straight for main. Smooya still clearing everything inside of middle. But he has no idea about which site it actually will be.
Yeah, unfortunately, his intuition is going to be a little bit wrong. No, he's double back. Okay. Going back over towards the A side. Confirmation comes, but it doesn't come with opportunity. Smoke Molotov combination would have kept him away. He wouldn't have been able to push forward and try and spam or anything of the sort. Instead, it is right in he goes. He's trying to use his enemy's smoke, the HE grenade to clear it out, and back over in. He could try and stick the defuse. Decides against it. He's full HP, yes, but would rather look for the fight. There are 2 players, of course, so he's worried about a crossfire over here. First opportunity has been taken over. And although he does get the kill on the Chrisen, eventually failing to do so in that first visibility, that means Fiku's got an easy trade.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't absolutely certain at that it was 2 players inside of A main, but he took the wager and he found the isolated fight. Even if it was against the weaker player, he just couldn't find the kill quite quick enough. You know, the fact that Chrisen was able to tank a bullet and survive for as long as he did actually allowed the trade to come out easier at the end there. So really nice done. Nicely done. The footwork from Chrisen on the money. Fast play for mid this time for OG, and they don't have the same presence or link up from the players on lane. But they get the space they want, and you know, with the way that things have been going so far with Iberian Soul being aggressive, you can understand why they're trying to taper back and play a little bit more defensive. Nikodos timing poor. Spoon just arrived and hits the shot on the orb. Now it is a cleanup crew inside of Cheetah, and only Chrisen that remains in the smoke.
This might be the most effective cleanup crew I've ever seen. Prison will be able to find a bit more damage at the very least. Some insurance claims refiled for here on the work site, but it is round number 1 on the board for Iberian Soul. Fantastic round coming through from Alex. And look, if there was ever going to be anyone we see be pushing forward after that last game, Alex would certainly be one of the ones topping up the charts. This is where Iberian Soul have an opportunity to turn things around. So far in most of these rounds early on, OG have been getting the fights that they want. Their early round prep has been fantastic and giving them, nice isolated duels, maybe catching Iberian Soul off guard and whatnot. But I'm wondering about what happens when it comes to 3v3 where the round isn't decided just quite yet. Spook, early HE grenade is going to be peppering him up.
Duel to Soul, that could have been a massive swinging moment. I mean, the smoke was just blooming, so chances to trade are kept minimal. Even boost above it, and it will give an opportunity to Smooya. So 2 clean picks, but Mopush has been felled. So a little bit of an absence of pressure now being applied to B lane. Fika will try and find an advantage back, creeping and crawling through red. He could be very important, very influential, but they need to put more pressure on B to actually force rotates and make Iberian Soul uncomfortable should they continue towards that site.
Smee is going for the heart clear inside red room. This kill could decide everything. If Crizin is able to eliminate him, things get very tough to rotate back over with the red room threat still being present. If Smooya gets this kill, then the round is basically over. Because of the smoke over here as well. Smooya smokes off red room. Crizin starts to move immediately. Smooya will not be covering up this flank at all. A deep flashbang back towards A main for delaying tactics. There's 30 seconds left for the clock. Smooya comes back over. Crizin is still perfecting his timing. CT smoke and Smooya's gone. Dead to right, not expecting a flank when CT's the one that's been smoked off. You're back to a 2 versus 2. And as Crizin recovers the AWP, he's got a great sightline into CT spawn. Flashbang though forces him away, and when he fires out that shot, he's revealed his opportunity. One that is now lost. Rescope back over, but they're coming in through the B-side smoke. There is an incendiary, so if you're able to deploy that one inside Temple, things become very difficult. Davig, the one with the kit and the incendiary, it goes a bit too deep. Crizin covering off, spotted out now. They've registered it as well. Picadors once again on the flank, comes through, takes him down, and Alex is all alone. OG has completely outplayed this, and it feels like Crizin, with that one kill he gets, has basically secured the entire round.
Yeah, I mean, I pointed it out as Fiku close red, but it was Crizin, and the fact that he was able to take that timing and play so patiently. He's full health. He knows his teammates are repositioning. They're trying to take main, and he is just reading the util and forecasting what that player outside of red is doing in that moment. And once he sees that smoke, he knows that there's a potential gap. The final reinforcing point was hearing that flash into the A site to know that there was a distraction in place. And yeah, I mean, Crizin played that masterfully. I mean, the timings he was taking is kind of the best way back into the round, and it's all off of intuition.
Oh, goodness, Fiku's almost taken down, but almost isn't quite good enough. What was supposed to be Iberian Soul's window back into the game is now looking a little bit more difficult to see through. It's gotten grubby, it's gotten dirty, and Mopo's, this is where he normally succeeds. Unfortunately, Negados is a bit of a germaphobe.
He's the one that has to safeguard that bomb. And while that door smoke was down, Nikados just kept his eyes peeled for a play just like it. A good display of control and patience so far from OG. Gone with some of these pacier takes. They're trying to read and adjust their tempo to see how they might be able to counteract what Iberian Soul are trying to plug up. Even in the slow default, I mean, the aggression from Iberian Soul does catch them out momentarily, but it's been these mid rounds where even if they're not finding these initial entries, they're still finding ways out, and this time it's via Spook. They find an open A bomb site as a result of just that one kill in middle.
am I getting a bit of deja vu from Inferno, but just the other way around?
Yeah, I understand, picking, map picks and being prepared and all that stuff. I understand it. But for it to be so convincing for both parties is a little, it's surprising.
Especially when you consider, like, both of these maps. Iberian Soul like Ancient.
Yeah.
OG likes Inferno.
That's what I was saying in the veto, is that, like, OG are probably quite satisfied. They get a pick, as well as in that decider, they'll have another one of their first round picks as well. But Iberian Soul, all 3 maps are first round picks for them in their vetoing process. So I'm not expecting them to be poor here.
Is anyone ever expecting to be poor, Michael?
There's layers to that question.
Yeah. Somebody called the bourgeoisie.
Even with the tack timeout, it would still the answer, I feel like, would have to be too long.
I hope that the answer that Iberian Soul come to is a little bit shorter. It does feel like part of this might be a slight firepower differential as well. Obviously, very often Iberian Soul have been on like an MP9 versus an AK, something like it, right? You're almost getting a kill, you're getting a headshot, you're getting your damage in, but it's not enough. But if you thought MP9s were a problem, well, let me introduce you to an MP9 and a Falmouth. It'll still be a pretty good buy, right? It's not something where you can look at it and say, you shouldn't be winning this, but you are, it's not an impossible round. Maybe slightly tilted in the favor of OG. But Spook goes out and over, finds the first kill before the flashbang spot, but I think it might have even been a team flash where Alex isn't able to push forward, rather Davy G isn't able to push forward. But eventually he does reclaim the kill. Alex goes back over towards CT spawn. Davy G from Donuts spots out the threat in Temple. The deep Molotov from the T side will give Alex some cover, but not going to stop him from peeking into certain death. Mopo swaps out for the Farmers. Over he goes. Nikodos caught with an 8 in his hand. That's not fantastic. Flashbang could have ended up blinding his teammate as well, but instead Mopos gets a clean duel. The flank from Fiku. Problematic at the best of times right now is the worst of them. Davy G will deal with it. You're back to 1v3, and we have spotted Crimson trying to take the peek inside the smoke. Despite a few little hiccups in the start, Iberian Soul clean up the faster round from OG.
Yeah, that's a little bit surprising to me, just given the way that OG start that round. Spook, OG are taking some liberties now. A one-man solo mid-take where he's just playing ahead and just kind of playing out in the open, waiting to see what the response is from Iberian Soul. The fact he's able to get that opening kill, and sure, it goes traded, but it takes so much time away. OG have an open sight. If not for the heroics of Mopoj, that round just never happened. That double kill inside of Temple threw OG completely off kilter in the afterplan. And wow, now it's just a slaughter for mid-control. Soulso gets 2.
And I get 2 more fantastic nades. Well, I guess it's 1 nade on 2 people, whatever. Who's counting? Who knows how to count? Chris's alone in 1 versus 5, Michael.
Yeah. It's not like these players are that wounded. Chances are not high.
And this is where OG, in a couple of these rounds where things have gotten close, maybe start to sweat. Your money is really not very good over here. This is likely going to be a force buy into maybe a save, something like it, right? If you want to try and buy an AK for Adam and Fiku, like try and go for something like a pocket play.
I'd actually save here, I think. Give yourself a very substantial enough buy in the round to follow. Because if you force buy here, then you're just in with a weird force in the last round, and you already have 7. But if you force buy now and you lose it, then you're basically allowed. It's not guaranteed, but chances are Iberian Soul do just salvage it to 5. Oh, they're actually buying a little further down than even I'd prefer.
Yeah, because 2,400 isn't that much.
For T
Hey,
sides,
look, you'll
it
be able
is.
to get all of your utility, right? You're going to be able to maybe miss out on a few flashes for Nikodos. Looking for damage in the CT economy does seem a little bit meh at this point, right? They're going to have a buy in the next round regardless. That's going to be the last round of the half. Smuya exploring out in middle. The solitary lurker. He'll miss his shot, and that means there's a threat to come through from Red Room. Incendiary used early from Sawsall, and he'll replace Smuya. Back over he goes to look for the hunt on Prism. Prism turns around. Hip is spotted. Smuya has been taken down by the Eagles. It is 2 kills very quickly found. Davi G long range, hoping his range would help, but it really doesn't. Not in the face of the baby op. The latest addition of the team is still unable to make the crossover, get the bomb down. Mopos and Alex will not be wasting time, but they will be wasting their life. Adam B gets it all, 4 kills. And you're right, Michael, they won't force buy because they don't need
Yeah,
to.
oh my god, how has he done that to them? That's insane. I wanted more Adam B in this series, but I did not expect it to manifest in that type of round. That is highly unusual and very disappointing for Iberian Soul.
Adam B shoots. Well, it's not quite fortunate enough to be able to get that boost up, but it doesn't matter. Nikodos still dies instantly. Smuya, well, he's not going to be able to do much with Flash in his face, but at least he's got company. That's a good-ass friend right there. Saw Soul Avengers twice, but Iberian Soul will only have that one-man advantage. Adam B is going to swiftly remove it, and if you were scared of him before, don't stop now. Bomb is not in their possession, but it can be swiftly.
Yeah, it's just...
Adam's going to move back and recover it.
There's just so much time on the clock where, you know, they're aware of Fiku, but they have also opened themselves up to timings where he could have escaped into the B bomb site for all they know. They're going to be very uncertain about whether or not they even can reposition to get information, but they're going to have to take a risk at some point.
Well, Novas agrees with you. He's taking that risk. He spots out Fiku. At least he knows that there's no one inside the B bomb site. Unfortunately, the trade-off is he can't be inside it either. Eventually, he'll have to fight. And he's still worried about Adam B coming over elsewhere. Remember, he doesn't know where the bomb was, so Adam's repositioning has not been right into. Daviji also is expecting there to be a man outside of B, but he'll hear the footsteps in Donuts so he can move back over. A main likely to be checked. Adam B will be able to get the bomb plant out. He's faking it, and this late push from Opus into A main might actually work for Daviji, rather for Daviji into main. Daviji makes his way over, will not be able to catch the timing. Adam, back into Donut he goes. They side have a good position, but the nade incendiary combo could be an issue. Kit ready for Mopaz. Feel like they can throw out utility. Adam's taken 1, Adam's taken 2. It's 9 for OG and 11 to 5 for Adam B as he has super powered these last 2 rounds to success. OG looking to close out their map pick after a break. Welcome back to the Pro League qualifiers for Europe. OG have destroyed Iberian Soul in that first half. It's not quite as bad as what we saw coming out in Inferno, but listen, if Adam B is to be believed, it's not stopping anytime soon. A fantastic last 2 rounds, but OG on a 9, largely courtesy of him. Iberian Soul fight from not just the back foot, but it feels like a completely different track.
You say not quite as bad, and sure, it's not an 11-1, but, you know, let's not forget, OG only got 2 rounds on Inferno, Iberian Soul have 3, so you're not wrong, you know, it's not as bad, but if OG close out, it's also just very, very similar.
There you go, there's your closing out. Never mind.
Immediate, and they have access to the bomb, because they got dropped back red when they killed that first player. As they tried to sneak their way through Sorsol, good damage, good kills. I mean, 3 in quick succession. Finally, Nikodos puts an end to it, but now it's Alex in a 1v1 versus the AWP of OG.
Nikodos has no idea where Alex is. For all he knows, Alex is the lurking player coming in from the A-bomb set. That's where they wanted to finish up. Alex is quietly going back to B. He doesn't want any of the... No, never mind. Okay. They both read into each other somehow, and the fight is going to be instant. A tap from Nikodos, and Alex is thinking, my god, he's been standing there all this time, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he knew he was red, and that he would just rotated away from B, and that the bomb was down in... I'm a little confused by that whole process and the way things played out, but they took a wager, and you're right, you know, they both ended up on the same side of the map. But the shooting has just been a lot cleaner here for OG. I mean, you see the reactions from some of the players, whether it's Fiku on some of these trades that have been happening throughout that T side, whether it's Adam B and the shots he was hitting. It felt like the reaction time and, you know, the time to kill and register for OG was just, and has been so much snappier on this map. Well, a little bit of time, maybe that thrashing on Inferno woke him up a bit.
OG have stocked up on the MP9s. Crizzen will be able to put his to good use. The T side decides not to push through. Crizzen will even get a couple of parting shots out in the back of the meantime. I won't be counting any deagles out of the question, not after what Adam B did, especially when they have armor to cover them quite often. Yep. Alex is an AK as well, that's not fair.
Based on the util as well, Iberian Soul basically have to go B. They have 1 smoke and a couple of flashes. That's not enough to get from ledge to red to donut. Actually, no, there were 2 smokes. Yeah, 1 dropped underneath the feet of the util thrower in Smuya, and Nikodos actually just tucking away. He has teammates nearby, so creating a little hidey hole and allowing the plant.
And he's been spotted trying to move back as well. Sorsol trying to hold him off. Sorsol had a fantastic 2 kills with the Deagle. He's hoping to do the same with with the Glock. He's hoping to do the same with the Deagle. Smuya pushes in the back lines, picks up 1, stays alive, will not be able to get much with the upgrade, but Mopos is the flanking man. 2 massive frags. That Mach 10 comes into play, and Nikodos, who's been the one that they've been fighting for consistently, has been put in the hero's seat. It's a seat he does not want to hold. He stands up, he leaves, he's off to save, and even that denied.
Yeah, I mean, that double kill from Mopoj, once again, in one of these dire moments for Iberian Soul, Mopoj comes up with a big multi-kill. I mean, that late flank, OG had no idea that was coming. And even after he gets those 2 kills, he thinks it's clear, he reloads, he checks, and, you know, he doesn't overstay his welcome. He hadn't committed himself all the way in, and it's more than enough for Iberian Soul to close out the round just off of the kills he gets, as well as the info on that last player. So some speed bumps for OG as they hope to close off a substantial lead in that first half. Another force buy.
Oh my god, not again! Not again! What is it with the Swedes and the pistols? Smuya hoping that they can do something, but it just can't. Adam B and Spook. 4 kills amongst the 2 of them. Leaves Davy G alone, about to be flanked out by Nikodos. Not even needed! These Nordic sidearms.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Those first 2 kills on those 5-7s was, I mean, they were immaculate. If they didn't get the killer, the first player jumping, then they probably wouldn't have been able to acquire the second target deeper down the ramp so quickly. It's so fast how it happens. And Iberian Soul thought they could have set up and run a default and work the map, but no, not against the pistols. Nikadaw's hyper aggro ahead of the Molotov, and Alex doesn't even turn. Mopo's pressed to run through the flames to find a trade, and they're dancing back and forth. Nikadaw's is somehow close to the smoke, but he's not the one that got targeted. But when they need them most, Sol and Mopos have so far served to be heroes in some of these moments.
Yeah. Not enough of them so far, unfortunately, but maybe, you know, in Darkest Dawn or something, yeah. Green Lantern's light, let's bring it in. Adam B. However, he's hoping to shut him down. Low players with pistols. This is just what he deals with. They'll let the bomb be planted. They're not too worried about Iberian Soul having more money going into the next round. It is all about Soso right now as he's coming in from middle, but he doesn't know where to go. If he goes into red room, Fiku could get the flank running. If he goes back for Donut, it might be too late. And with Smooya going down, it feels like his decision-making process has been interrupted for too long. He spots out the hip. He can't get the kill. There is a kit available for Fiku. He's quite far away, but it shouldn't matter too much. Soso will just be saving the AK. It'll be 4-12. OG firmly in the lead.
Yeah, it wasn't really planted for him, but even then he had an opportunity to take out the diffuser. It just simply didn't connect. He also he waited very, very long, and he hoped his teammates could stand their ground on the site, so his flank was a little easier. But nothing has been easy for Iberian Soul on this map. OG have been making their lives incredibly complicated with the nice shooting, the fast reactions, whether that was on the T side or here on CT. They decided to push the limits immediately against that counter force of Iberian Soul, and you saw just how disruptive Nikadaw's was being, and that with that deep pressure down B lane, they just could never feel comfortable, never felt settled. They had to find this crazy out, this mid-round reposition for a way back in, and it's still not enough. There's just a composure, and also it does genuinely just help that OG are hitting their shots more so than they were on Inferno. I touched on it before, but in that 13-2 scoreline, there were moments where you just thought, and you knew that they could have shot the first bullet, they just didn't react or shot slow. And they were getting hit by perfect util a lot as well. And it has not been a trend that continues into the second map. On the other foot, and OG are wearing them nicely. What are those? A double kill for Crizzen. And he's looking for even more. Sossel has no idea. Pre-aim completely off. Crizzen, a absolute menace.
Well, it's been a game of map picks so far. But now we're out of them. At least I would assume, so unless Davy G and Smooya are about to pull out the greatest round I have seen from them in all of Ancient. Not much of a sample size when Iberian Soul is only 1-4, but hey, it would be the greatest. It is factually correct. Davy G exploring out towards Donut. It is Spook who is watching out for that possibility. Smooya moves forward. Crizzen's already found 4 kills. Why not look for 5? Davy G's out in the middle. Crizzen could top this out with an ace, and he certainly does. What a way to close. 13-4. OG remind Iberian Soul that Stomps can go both ways. Let's find out what Nuke has in store for us, because I can tell you, I have no idea. We'll be back after a break. I don't know if it's going to carry over or not. They're doing very well on a few of these pistols, right? The Deagle from Adam B, later on the 5.7s as well. OG certainly on Ancient felt like they had much more of a plan, and in my head that normally means that, hey, you know what, maybe we just haven't become fully acclimatized. Maybe we haven't gotten as many scrims on Inferno. Maybe we neglected it, thinking, yeah, that's a little bit more for, you know, map that maybe we won't pick for a while. We can ghost slightly more. It's one of those maps where if you want to learn it, if you are a team that has played it a lot, then you want to learn it fast, right? Because it's where you put your time investment early, it takes longer to get a player used to it. So I'm kind of copying him right now than maybe Adam B's more used to Nuke, because I really have no idea. On the other hand, Smuya, obviously, he's just a full stand-in, right? So this is a situation where he definitely will not have practice with this team. But let's see who actually comes out on top. It's OG on the T side, Iberian Soul on the receiving side, Davi G delivering with 2, but that's still a 3 versus 3 for this pistol now. Player on the lower bomb side is Alex. He lies in wait.
And they're going to continue creeping their way further and further down ramp. Nikolas is still hounding in for a kill if he can find one. And he's crossing at advantageous timing, but he does spot Alex and does reveal his position. Instant headshot onto Alex as that first respondent. But now reinforcements is coming, but the bomb is not fully committed to the idea of a plant. Now Nikolas is trying to safeguard those double doors, but Adam B doesn't feel that safe, so it's a tap. And neither actually falling, but finally Smuya fell, and now Alex close by. They just try to swarm, and now that bomb is dropped out in the open. Mopo's fighting at the back of the site with those dualies, and he isolates a fight down to a one-on-one. Krisen at the control room window, and has the chance to reposition. Mopoj may lose him.
Was a critical kill on a Smuya. Krisen, another one. Moposh will be able to get a sniff out at the very least, but his nose isn't the one doing the firing. Krisen will shoot it right off his face. Gotta say, man, that double doors not being closed down, I thought it would be an advantage for Iberian Soul, but because Krisen's coming in later on from ramp, hasn't revealed his position at all. Smuya was getting ready to re-peek back in and maybe get a double swing, something like it, just finding the right place to be. That's where Krisen finds him and takes him down. Moposh's rotation is good, but you know what? It's just not enough. Krisen, great start to things, as Iberian Soul will not be able to capitalize on Davi G's double.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's also 3 for 3 in T-side pistols for OG, but I guess more critically, 0 for 3 on Iberian Soul's CT pistols. You know, the USPs have actually not been serving them well throughout this series. But get them on Glocks. They cook.
Yeah, everyone's just 100% T-side pistol win rate in general so far.
Yeah, it's just the T-sides that have been winning far more of those pistols.
Oh, Sly. Ooh. Lordy, lordy. That's what they say in Britain, right?
No.
Smuya finds himself
No,
a quick
they don't.
Oh, lordy, lord.
Oh my...
I'm so British. Oh my goodness, Smuya. He's not going to be able to find the kill, but Mopa just swings by. Krisen taken down. You're in a 5 versus 2. They don't take any time to try and collect that gun on outside.
5 versus 3.
5 versus 3, sorry, yes. And Smuya right back over, who will be smoked off immediately. Sorsal still playing containment on the Deagle. Smuya's come out of that smoke. Sorsal will be looking to swing with him, but Adam B's spray transfer is neglected. That pole in the middle, it receives more bullets than not, but still the bomb will go down. 2 versus 4. This time I got the numbers right, but can OG get the numbers down?
Yeah, can they actually collect on it is the bigger problem. I mean, they have no util, they don't have a kit, and Luca's found his kill. Fiku now revealed at the back of the site, but it has to just be this SMG that hounds him, and he will be dealt with. Sorsal, the scout, will finish the job as well. And so, with the force by Iberian Soul, those first 2 kills they get, it's enough. They retain that advantage through and through, and OG were constantly playing catch-up.
What a value add that scout was. First kill from Smuya was fantastic, but afterwards, of course, just Sorsal being able to recover it. Great Deagle shot there too. One of the things that has maintained for Iberian Soul, which we can say sort of in the early phases, is they are quick to react in these mid-round situations, right? Smuya is making the call that, hey, I'm pushing out through the smoke to speak him with me. They're listening to him and whatnot. This is where that chemistry from once upon a time actually matters, because there is a certain level of trust built that, hey, listen guys, we know this is someone who we respect at least as a player. Listen to him, let him play around himself. It's a stand-in situation, it doesn't matter, and Smuya is more comfortable asking for that space as well.
Yeah, it's just, they're very active pieces either way, right? Whether it's Moposh, Smuya, Alex, these are all guys that if you want to make an aggressive play, it's actually not that hard to convince them, you'd imagine. Also, a kill at ramp, but he goes out re-swinging. He didn't have a teammate near him. He didn't have, a player down the ramp that could swing off him. After he gets that first kill, I'm actually surprised he continues to fight. So, a 1-for-1, OG will be kind of satisfied with how it starts.
Smooth's in a good position. Has to be careful that he doesn't get caught off by a smoke fading. He's worried about there being players inside of it, but also can't spray out and reveal his position too early either. Krisen will be visible soon. Smooya takes that fight, finds 2 players, backs off. That's more you like it, but he sees 3 now. Suddenly, Smooya. This is more than what he asked for. Still, 2 players out on the A-bomb site. OG might not be expecting this. HE grenade is primed and prepared. Will not be doing all that much, but every little bit counts. Nikados comes in from behind, uses that information to find a quick backstab. A second kill as well on the Tech 9. This is force buys galore, but Davi G can still try and unsettle the score. Nikados and that saved M4 is going to be too much.
Yeah, and I'm not really one that likes to harp on, you know, a singular mistake, but, you know, going 1 for 1 when you know you're out of position at ramp is kind of not the right move. You'll only see players continuously challenge from hell like that if they know that they've got a player that can react with you. Had they, you know, had Smooya been closer and they could have double swung, then that play makes a whole lot more sense. But, you know, it's also being that first domino to fall, the fact that it kind of disjoints Iberian Soul so much. They were not settled in their positions. The fact that Smooya had to worry about outside as well as the ramp duels, it was just clear that Iberian Soul didn't really know how to react properly to this massive vulnerability.
Well, right now Iberian Soul are pushing in with the 5-7s. That's found success before, but Krisen's found them instead this time, and he's now okay. Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I mean, he got the first 2 so easily that, yeah, the Tech is better at that range, to be fair. At least than the Mac 10. Just another time that ramp is just kind of taken quite easily here for OG.
And also peeks back out over AK on the other side. Deadman walking. Well, Fiku inherits that title.
There should be an escape path for Smooya as well. It just comes down to Alex and whether or not he can actually remain undetected. Good clear from Adam. Just looked a little shy on Alex's screen, but that's because he's so close to that vent wall. Adam B catches the shoulder and finds the head.
Don't know if this Falmouth is going to be in Smooya's hands for long either. It is a quick peek that is punished. Nikados misses the first shot, didn't have enough HP to go for more, and now the clutch is on, but nah, for how long? Smooya decides, maybe turn it back off.
Yeah, I think there was actually a smoke that he could have picked up in hell that maybe could have served him well if he decided to go for a clutch. But it's just the fact that by the time he gets up that heaven ladder and, you know, expects to maybe eat an HE or maybe a smoke lands at his feet, he's just going to bleed off a lot more time than he actually has to win a round.
Terrorists win.
So an understandable save. But good work from Krisen. He's been very active. Gets 2 kills out from the hut, and even if he dies, it's just OG are allowed to work one of the extremes of the map effectively for free. You know, ramp is typically not one that's, you know, it is given up fairly frequently by B anchors, but typically the vulnerable area is outside with the variety of wall of smokes you can do, the, you know, double execs outside. You're expecting that secret stairs could be accessed in some capacity. Not typically ramp. You know, if you have to worry about both extremes, then things get very, very worrisome for you now.
Well, this is fun. They're just making the crossover. Of course, they're worried about the AK that's been saved, but Adam B has already taken it out of Smooya's hands. And unfortunately for Iberian Soul, Michael, that after all of that, they suffer the fate of a CT side and gets bogged up in a force by war that they lose. They're going to be down realistically, you know, could even be 1-5 if Smooya's op considerations become a factor and whatnot. You know, they're going to be disadvantaged even in the next round, even if only marginally so.
Yeah, especially when we're having the conversation about T-side nuke. 5-6 rounds? Most teams are very satisfied with that. 7 or 8, you're eating good. Yeah, I'm with you. The fact is, the way the money is going, if they want that ult, which they should, given the way that Smooya has been shooting so far with that AWP when he's been allowed to have it in this series. But they're also just kind of failing to put enough pressure on OG in these moments. daviG has slipped the net. He is between the OG members, but Adam B doesn't lower his guard. Any shenanigans that daviG had planned.
What he would have given for a kit right there. Wouldn't have gotten the defuse, but maybe, you know, gets a couple of kills with the bomb.
Yeah, needed a kit smoke, I think.
Yeah. Mopo's out on the hunt. It is without Kevlar. Aim punch was never going to let that be easy, and it is 5 alive. Lots of money made. OG looking good, feeling good, playing good.
Yeah, anyone that was thinking about Mopo, why didn't he try and save there? I mean, they were split. There were 2 ramp. His exit paths weren't great, and the bomb is planted underneath him. He would have died to the explosion.
I always appreciate the Twitch chat voice you do, Michael. Just want to let you know that.
What? Why didn't he save?
Krisen,
that's actually just my normal voice, just a little higher.
well, you are on Twitch chat a lot.
Yeah.
Krisen tried to accelerate and see if there was any CT trying to get into the lobby early. The flashes are good. No, they're great. He's got 1, looks for 2, but daviG and Saucel have been able to find success elsewhere. Saucel is actually contesting ramp this time, but not for long. And as Smooya re-peeks back out over, he suffers the same fate that Saucel did so many times. With a perfect advantage of position, just couldn't fire the shot. daviG has to compensate, will do so, and get away to safety. 2 versus 2. The reset will take place. daviG slow to open the doors, can't threaten anything.
Oh, good kill there from Alex.
Nikonos
trapped. Oh, and the trade is so fast there from daviG. Nikonos had to take a fight at some point, but he just can't wrangle it. It's all daviG that serves as this hero. He not only brought them away back in, but he closes the round as well. It's a lot better looking there from Iberian Soul, even if they lose those fights on ramp. They still end up in this moment where daviG can slide in for a big-time moment.
Gosh, I mean, you still look at the money of Iberian Soul after that one. It's just not very pretty, is it? It's a worse buy than what they walked into the last round with, but maybe they can still do more.
It's definitely a cute idea there, though, from OG. You know, just sending Krisen as this sole entry fragger into the top side.
It looked like he could have got a 2.
Yeah.
Goes a lot better for them than I thought it would, though, to be honest, considering Saucel's positioning. But yeah, Smooya now tagged up on his cross back over, will provide the smoke through the T side instead of having them deploy one of their own. Nikonos is just firing away. Alex will not be able to take advantage of the reload, and the Molotov will just be forcing him back as well. Adam B finds the 5 versus 4. Smooya's turned around. Oh my god, it's never looked this easy for Spook! Listen, I used to be confused by how to pronounce his name, but it's not because of the spelling, it's because this man is spooky in spokes.
Oh, dink on Subiku inside of main, and that's the bomb dropped at the feet of Alex, but he just can't turn his head around it fast enough. Had to be on a swivel, player door, and coming out hut simultaneously. And now Saucel could be up to some clever tricks himself. Smokes are down. He could have actually bypassed Nikonos. Instead, will move to fight him. Now, I do think there is a kit en route that he could recover, but has that open hand and doesn't fancy his position. OG will move into a 5 rounds here on this T side, while Saucel tries to save. I have to say, I am loving this sort of emboldened version of OG. There were moments on that Inferno when they were getting battered, where understandably they were playing quite timid, a little fearful. They weren't actually playing off each other great, and I was worried that would transition into the other maps in the series. But on Ancient, I think they gained a lot of confidence with the way that they were playing, how aggressive they could be, and now they're just willing to take those risks, even moving into a map like Nuke, where, you know, the walls and all the permutations of it, teams that will scrim on Nuke will be very familiar with a lot of the variety of it. And you know, there's clever ways you can I guess sort of dodge their expectations, but I typically don't see it be as, you know, forward or as risk-taking as OG are doing. You know, the spook play, whether it's Krisen on the solo entry out from Hut.
Yeah.
It's just it's nice to see that they're trying to refine a bit of aggression and also just poke holes in an Iberian Soul that justifiably shouldn't have everything put together.
I do wonder if it's increased as well when you consider things like how quickly they've been able to take control over ramp, even in positions where it feels like maybe they shouldn't be able to, right? So unpeaking, repeaking, and it's not all on him. It's also just about him feeling like he has to reinforce other areas of the map and whatnot. Those comms are much more revealed in the troubles that they might be having for Iberian Soul, right? So OG probably do feel like, hey, we are at liberty to take more space. And it's nice to see that exploitation.
You know, and
I think that's one of the things about Krisen that largely, you know, people have been somewhat impressed with, that they've talked to me about, right? I won't pretend like I've gone through and I've watched every single OG demo and I can be like, this is exactly what Krisen's strength is and has been since his Mouse NXT days, but it feels like he's found a nice way to be able to at least adjust to his opponents and whatnot, and coming into the first few T-side rounds as well, pretty much every single time. And what more can you really ask for from a young IGL?
Yeah, I mean, he has a nice variety of, you know, defaults and execs and, you know, pacey plays. I think there's a lot of in-game leaders that sort of try and model that hyper variety. You know, there's very few that really just lean in heavy executes, because it just, you know, if you only play one style, you become a little easier to read or interpret. And I think what has been nice is actually, as Krisen has gone from different rosters, you kind of see the I guess not the style change, because it's still the same sort of variety-based organization, but you definitely see the win conditions change between those rosters. And, you know, some of that's the players that you have around you. An in-game leader is supposed to make use of the tools he has, as well as organize those tools in a good fashion. So, yeah, that's what makes it quite exciting looking at him as a young in-game leader, is that, like a lot of the young in-game leaders out there, he's still growing.
In the meanwhile, he's not growing because he's been cut off. Krisen and Spook will be right there to compensate for that. Those Smoothers AWP will not be finding anything easily. It'll be in the 3 versus 4. And he can open the door and look for a fight. This might be perfect positioning. Iberian Soul have everyone ready to receive, but this welcoming party is going to be finding very few visitors. That HE grenade feels like it reveals intentions as well. They know there was an AWP likely saved. Round. Smoothie has found the kill and the bomb's been dropped as well. Now commitment to the B-bomb set is a must, but he's inside the flames. He's been burnt alive. Adam B and Fiku shut down the round. OG might sweat, but they take the tan and they move on.
Ramp is a real problem. I don't think I've seen a Nuke CT side where Ramp has been hit this many times and
Successfully.
It's been so successful, sometimes uncontested. So it is going to put Soulsoul in a bit of a pressure position. I mean, he's getting his kill. It's just so frequently the Ramp player is, you know, one that has to be able to get his kill and get away, or get a multi.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why Nuke's one of the few places where the quote-unquote B anchor is one of the strongest positions in the map because of how easy it is to back off traditionally.
It's given to star players.
Yeah.
And Soulsoul has been doing a great job on the come-up of Iberian Soul of serving as that star player, but now kind of struggling, and the flash is perfect onto Alex. I mean, look at the pace now from OG immediately after that kill.
Yeah, he's not going to be bothered by the Molotov, but he does back off. He's worried about being flanked in from the side. Krisen making plenty of noise, but not plenty of movement. It's alright, Krisen. You can't have everything. Entries, strats, we'll forgive you one. Flashbang's been dodged, but 2 players spotted. Kristen stays alive. Spook finds Smooya elsewhere. Now Spook trying to push up and play distraction. Kristen uses it to perfection. And Mopos had already dropped down to the side looking for fights elsewhere, but now he's looking for teammates as well. 1 versus 4. Kristen reunites him. Here's your teammates, buddy. 7 rounds for OG.
It's actually almost comical. The ways in which OG are just kind of almost disrespecting them. Like the start of this round is very standard. You know, smokes outside, slow crawl, creep. Iberian Soul are not putting as much pressure or presence on outside because they've been struggling on the other extremity, and so you know they want to be in faster rotating positions for it. OG 1 flash to main, 1 kill, and just an immediate beeline. And even if Kristen missed the jump like 3 times to get into AC in heaven, it just served as a massive distraction. And he's primarily there to hound for extra information because he's been loud and proud about his approach, so he may as well keep at it. And just by continuing to limit test in that way, you know, he kind of manufactures new opportunities for the team to collapse and play together. It doesn't seem the most organized in these moments, but they're clearly calling a setup and a play to target one specific quadrant and then springboarding off of that. And it's working wonders for them.
Charm. We've seen 5-7s win rounds. This one, they're in the right position. They've started off well. Davig's on 1 HP, but they're still alive, and that's what matters. That means it's a 4 versus 3. Even if technically the HP was almost identical until that bullet just landed.
Yeah, technically.
Only Miss Nikodos will have to be a bit worried about a player coming in from the vents. Mopos is, in fact, ready to do just that. Boost up for Davig. He knows his job is, hey, you get lucky with the kill, that's nice, but please tell us how many players are coming over.
I find it very unlikely that they actually clear for his position as well.
With the time remaining, it'll be difficult to. They've been good about looking for Sawsall. Cook will check for it, but it still gets taken down. Davig not forced to drop either. You don't normally see the boost cleared it that close. Sawsall pushes through, gets the kill. Somehow Krisen unable to punish.
Yeah, Nikodos is busy throwing rifles away, but he now realizes, like, wait, there's 2 here actually, so, and 2 more right in front of him. So it was a rather fruitless effort. Let's get 1 more and tries to run away. Tries to throw that AWP away, but Smooya actually grabs it. So thank you very much. A force buy that falls Iberian Souls, or into Iberian Souls camp. They needed that.
Well, they've had 2 of them now.
Yeah.
They also need 5 rounds at this point. OG has already done more than their job on this T side, but at least Iberian Soul can look for a little bit of solace. No kits other than Davig. Enough money on Smooya and Sawsall to buy, but they have elected to save that money, maybe understandably so. There won't be much presence outside, but that grenade is good. Alex only wishes he was slightly closer, so he'd have a better chance of taking down Krisen.
Yeah, the fact that he's not able to punish that is actually incredibly disappointing, because the timing on the play was perfect. You just needed to capitalize, and so now Krisen could have, you know, more than just the 1 player down for all OG, or rather Iberian Soul now. And I will expect that, you know, in the next 20-25 seconds, they'll have to try and make some sort of information gathering play.
Looks like a play coming in for Mini. That seems to be the plan at the very least. Smooya, nice name, popping open. Mopos, what's going on over there? Fiku turns around, maybe to head away from the flashbang, but Alex is the one to find out of the kill. Smooya's missed shot is quickly compensated. Sawsall, who was set up for the flank earlier on by the AWP, will be able to activate, leaving Adam B alone. Alone he can do a lot though. We've seen what he's capable of. That capability will not be showcased here and now in this round.
Yeah, I mean, the HE blow there from Smooya actually, I think, almost wins them the round. It's strange to say that 1 piece of util throws everything off balance, but OG, because that smoke got blown and it was their main source of cover to wrap into main, they were actually scared of getting shot by a player back garage, CT spawn, as they were breaching into that fight, and actually allows for the initial A-side defense to have that extra sort of 1 second buffer. The fact they get that first kill and the trades can be so quick, or the rotation happens that 1 second faster as well. So, I mean, really astute move, even if it is rather simple in the end, given that it was a fresh wall that OG deployed. But without that HE, and the way that OG have been entering, I actually think that it likely would have been a round in which they mitigate a lot of good angles for Iberian Soul if they were just going to try and play the mid-round. We have a drop connection, but they rejoin quickly. Last round of the half. Last round to salvage this CT side, which has been riddled with holes so far.
Well, at the very least, they'll have a bad buy coming out of OG, right? Although, to be fair, with the way 4 spies have been going in pretty much this map and the last one, I don't know if that's quite going to matter.
Yeah, I think they're 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 on 4 spy wins so far this series.
Many is all I can say, Michael.
Yeah, OG's hit rate with it has been very, very solid.
Two Tech 9s, 2 AKs. A Deagle in the middle. A little bit of everything, but can they make a mean gumbo? It comes down to ramp where they look to contest. Crimson leads, Spook follows. 1 for 1. Access granted.
That's just not enough. Soul's had the best game statistically, but his position has been pressed so many times. 1 for 1 against a Tech 9 that he misses so many of his opening bullets on. It's not enough. There's not enough chance to react there for Iberian Soul. Look how far they're having to sort of play back to try and contain the presence, because this has been a problem position in a number of rounds gone by. They have seen the ways in which they can lose just by OG having ramp control. And so they are playing very separated, but also in sort of sentry positions that can react.
What is the reaction going to be over here? If Iberian Soul start to push, it will be leading right into the OG camp. Alex, so starts going back up heaven. This is the problem. Davig's fully alone. Iberian Soul are expecting an upper side hit. And now as OG will start to commit. No, OG is waiting, Michael. They really haven't quite expected Iberian Soul to be quite this massive. Davig, here's footsteps now, but he's being fired back on. He has to be careful. Smooya with his AWP, but reveals that position as well. Now, CTs are going to have to set up for a flank to come through from Alex. He's coming in from behind. That activation will be right about the time these smokes start to fade as well. Davig, though, cornered in by 3 players. OG are taking the fight to him, and with a smoke in his hand, there's no way for him to win that fight. Adam B repositions back over, but Nopus is able to move into the side, breaking his head with it as well. A second kill found. Spook around the corner. Nopus closes the door. They'll be able to open it soon too. The HE grenade doesn't actually open the door. They will have to do so from beyond the grave. Nikodos alone. 1 versus 3. First kill found. Second not on the ground. Yes, just yet. Smooya will get the defuse. Kit is present. 5 barely collected by Iberian Soul as the half will strike. It'll be time for a break, but that second one, where will it go? We've got no idea. Iberian Soul find respectability in 5, but they're going to have a bit of a tough time climbing back up. OG, great T-side performance. They do get destroyed and monetarily towards the end of things. They're not able to quite close out what looked like a very possible forest fight. Still, 7 rounds, more than good enough.
Yeah, OG did a great job that whole T side of just dictating the flow of combat. Not once did we see Iberian Soul get aggressive when it's a team filled with aggressive pieces. And so on this T side, you're expecting to see that manifest itself. Smooya, 2 kills at ramp. This was a problem area for them, but it is a problem here for OG too.
Maybe it's now a tale of halves instead of a tale of sides, I suppose. I don't know. Iberian Soul shouldn't even need to be planting the bomb over here. They can just run down the remaining player. Fiku, position known, and yeah, there you have it. 6 on the board. OG only finding a single kill, and meanwhile, a great start to things coming through from the Spanish side.
Yeah, T-side pistols have just been on the rise through this series.
100%, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. 100% T-side pistol win rate across 3 maps. That's a fun stat. There's been a lot of force by wins, though. Let's see whether OG can pull together what Iberian Soul demonstrated in round 2. No count, it feels like it'll be a faster play that is being lined up, but that's only one player threatening it. Everyone else from Iberian Soul, slow and steady. Mopos getting ready to flash, molly, pop, and well, flash and molly have come through. No one's been popped just quite yet. Return ball flashes are good as well. Fiku can't collect his aim in time, but Spook will be able to find both his aim and an AK. Sauceall trades already deep inside the site, perhaps unexpectedly so. And Adam B flanked out means Iberian Soul will fight the curse of the Force.
Yeah, that really looked like it was going to destabilize. As soon as Spook gets that kill to an AK and then finds a second, had there just been a little bit more presence on that top side to pull away from Spook and the plays that he was making, then it could have compounded into a greater issue. So, yeah, very, very nicely handled in the end there from Iberian Soul, even if the execute was incredibly messy. You know, the Molotov, the flash combos, I'm pretty sure Iberian Soul were just team flashing themselves as they went for the exec, and it just added to the chaos that almost actually didn't need to be there. But they found themselves again after they recovered from blindness.
Now comes the real threat, Michael. I remember what Adam B did with Deagle.
Yeah.
Is he going to be the only person who doesn't buy the Deagle?
Oh, he has a Deagle. Oh, no, that's Spook. Oh, no, he's got a...
Yeah.
He's got a CZ. I still don't understand the appeal of the CZ. In a world where the 5.7 is actually better on almost every statistic.
But is it better on the Vine?
Well, if I have to reload at a snail's pace, yes, actually, the 5.7 does beat the CZ on vibes.
Well, I've got to introduce you to Sprezzatore, Michael.
That gun deserves a nerf, to be honest. And
or maybe the 5.7 just deserves a nerf.
no, I think the 5.7 is probably staying where it is, if I'm being frank. There's a bunch of weapons that could get rebalanced. May as well make them all strong.
Well, stability in weapons is very often defined by the AK-47. It has been doing the same thing for a long time. It has been dying to pistols. Adam B to deliver. Story traded away. Mopos misses a clear opportunity, and that could come back to punish some. Spook in the back of the site. However, he's not able to do too much. Fiku comes in. Dabiji's not checking for this one. Fiku can get a flank as well. Bomb is going to be taken down if Dabiji hadn't turned around. That is a quick safety net that is created.
Just because of his position, to be honest, I don't even really blame anyone for how it happened, but Dabiji was inside of main, and the only reason he turned around as fast as he did is that there was a player swinging out from heaven. So, you know, in a weird way, Fiku's teammate trying to take pressure actually kind of messed him up on that flank, but he didn't know about the positions. Still, we're getting some impact. We're getting some of those multi-kills that we saw surface on Inferno here for Iberian Soul that were pretty much absent throughout all of Ancient. And now that they've found themselves into a lead, OG will have to cause a bit of turbulence in this first gun round.
David, you heard that nade. He realizes it's time to take a fight, and Kristen is regretting the lack of head armor. Takes a lot more damage than he would have otherwise, and he starts spraying too early. David G, the experience overwhelms the young big brain of OG, and even also a man with plenty of experience himself. Trades things out 4 versus 4, but it feels like Iberian Soul have been given a lot of control across the map. Unfortunately, they've had to get it at the expense of pretty much all their utility.
Yeah, the problem that they'll have now is that OG actually don't know if they could have walked down B, so they're going to have to clear for something, and this is where they're starting to make a move, aggression in towards ramp. Smia's still holding his line towards the hut. They want to crunch this position because outside and the lower site could be compromised, and Adam B just activating on that flank in time, but they lose Spook topside. Now a 3-on-2, made 2-on-2 as they disregard door. Bomb is down the lower side. Mopo just has to run distraction. They're playing ISO 1v2s.
He's dead. It's everyone being shot in the side of the head this round, and Soul's left. And when you're saying ISO 1v2s, this is, I guess, as ISO as it gets. His teammates are all dead. He gets the first one, dodges things out with a rubber life tube. You've never seen that one before, have you? Nikados trying to fight back with a grenade with an incendiary, but it's Soul who knows it's all about a single headshot, and that's not what he'll find. Nikados with a pistol will shut him down. The lack of ammo or something, I suppose. But a triple kill to save the day. I'm just wondering how Adam B gets that second kill.
I'm more wondering, in a 3-on-2, why is everybody just so disjointed? A player main throwing util to heaven while one's creeping out huts and the other is diving the vents. You know, it just felt like nobody was on the same page about what they were going to do in that moment. And maybe the main player was going to drop into the vent with the bomb. And, you know, Mopoj would just hover around and try and play a lurk. But you just got flanked control, or you just got flanked radio. You just killed 2 players top site. They're expecting that to be the ramp player. You know, Adam B, I just don't.
And the
I don't
funny thing
follow
is,
the
Marco,
logic.
I was about to commend Iberian Soul for, like, look at how good their comms are. Smuya, sure, he's died to the ramp position, but because he spots out Spook backing off, he's able to communicate it, and then now they're gonna have this great side presence and everything. And the second I'm thinking this, it all falls apart.
Yeah, the main player dies to the door, and then they're completely split. It's just I'm not following the logic, and I'm sure maybe I'm missing something, but
They are too.
it was a very disjointed round and a very disjointed moment.
Oh, slow peek from the AWP. Smuya. Well, shots been landed. Kristen. He won't do too much to avenge him, but hey. He might be able to carve out a path to retreat over here. Taking a lot of damage. Mopos has somehow found 2 players pushing into him. Fantastic punishment.
Yeah, magnificent work as the solitary man in charge of holding on to lobby, and he even walks the door smoke, but the gun actually covering Nikadoz's presence right under his nose. But just by getting those 2 kills, Adam B started to re-aggress towards the trophy room. So he sees a lot of position over at ramp. Cannot do anything about this plant. They are a man down. Krizen's wounded. And this should probably be a save. They're so deeply out of position as well. That's all Mopoj. Just one-man army inside of lobby. And this is the thing. This is the same reaction that OG did in the round gone by. They kind of lose the information outside. You're expecting teams to make some kind of counteraction, and if they don't make a counteraction, that they're probably playing a too lower setup in some capacity, so that they don't have to make that concession. But Mopoj reads this round well, where the round prior they get flanked by lobby, and then this whole chaotic circumstance, this kerfuffle happens. So it's a similar reaction. Slightly different timing, but Iberian Soul just getting those 2 kills, it's enough.
Come on, Mopos, just need to do that every round.
And I'm not saying necessarily, you know, when teams don't counteract that they have to be playing a 2 lower setup, but you know, there's strong reinforcements and there's strong counteractions, and sure you can still survive on slightly weaker choices in favor of a stronger site, for example, but everything is a compromise. Let's try and make as few as possible. That's what made Iberian Soul CT side so hard, is that, you know, they were getting a 1-for-1 at ramp so frequently, but they were also losing ramp so frequently, so they were just, yeah, their compromises had to be made almost every round.
Darji, fantastic. He's spotted out by Nikodos, but not before he can find the 1-2. Oh my god, he backs off Crimson. It's just being ruined outside.
Yeah. Crimson was playing with such confidence, a real stride to his step on this T side with the pace he plays, the entry work that he was doing. And now daviG giving him a bit of a taste of his own medicine, but not overextending, not continuing to push. Finds his one and just plays position.
A lot of presence out towards the lower bomb site. Iberian Soul is still hunting. They're expecting there to be one more player over here, which honestly, good read considering Nikodos isn't too far off. Smooth's just clearing out the close angles as well in case, but yeah.
The timing here is actually impeccable here for for Iberian Soul. Sorry. Oh yeah, I mean Nikodos was looking outside for ages. Smooth just barely missed the timing, but as they go for cross, Nikodos can't hold that.
The timing might be impeccable, Michael, but call is very impeccable. Oh, but they're about to walk into 3 CT players over here. Iberian Soul don't have quite the same benefit that Nikodos was able to provide his team of spotting out 3 players in their information. 18 seconds, this is only the lower bomb set that you can actually try and commit to. This is a fantastic crossfire as well coming through, but they still dismantle it. They get 1, they get 2. How is this happening? 8 seconds on the clock. Nikodos reveals position. They know there should be no more than 1 player over here.
No.
As long as Spook can't interrupt the plan, it should be game over. He doesn't even try for it, but the round is finished. They stop planting.
Spook just needs to kill the planter. He just needs to kill the planter there. But
Yeah, but they still win.
yes,
Because OG know that as well.
but he didn't even target the planter.
He didn't need to because they weren't looking at double doors even though they were planting for it.
Yeah, I know. And Alex didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't commit to it. I mean, you have
Guy,
no
it's
time.
a team with a stand-in, okay? Copium.
Why didn't Alex just stick it? He knows he has no time.
I'm choking on copium.
Yeah, that's. These moments are getting incredibly flustered. I mean, from both sides. I mean, OG did not make the optimal choices either there, but they managed out by time. And now Nikodos, a very cheeky play around the smoke, but gets a little bit more than he bargained for.
They still have a big advantage.
Yeah, they hear Soul drop as well, so they know that they're working towards heaven. But they've also given up a lot of space on this top side, so it's not like they can immediately address it.
Yeah, because Spook's all the way deep. So A side is technically empty.
It is open.
But for how long? Surely Spook starts to return at some point. OG might not be expecting this to be as fast a play as it is, and daviG will be able to recover the angle that he just left behind.
Huge kill. Absolutely huge kill. And the Maul event will slow down their rotate. The fact they retain heaven control as well for this post plant. It's not like OG are in great positions, but the health is definitely in their favor.
Prison will be spotted out over here, but he still wins out the duel. He struggled so far on the CT side, but maybe those struggles are over at MB as well with the cracker of a shot. Soso left alone, and that heaven control is the only thing standing between them and a loss in this round. Soso, first kill is good, but unfortunately, 1 for 1 just not enough when you're in a 1 versus 3. OG recovered the lead.
Counter-terrorists win.
Yeah, and some great headshots on that retake. The rifle work there from Crizin, just pry barring their way back in from door, is that first domino to fall. But the fact that both those players were so wounded and had taken damage earlier in the round definitely contributes. You know, that's one of the things that the AK M4 argument always is that when you're equal shooting, the AK almost always overpowers. And it just simply wasn't enough in that instance, even if Solsol had a moment to shine. Needed to shine real bright. Double digits and
smokes.
A failed set of
It's not
diags.
failed. There was a CT incendiary that was sent to interrupt it.
Yeah. Well, the smokes failed because of it.
It's a forced error.
Yes.
Is what I'd like to add, yeah.
I was getting to it.
I watched enough tennis for this.
Yeah, so they don't actually wager with that set of cross smokes. Trying to run a distraction for Mopoj to sneak in behind, and has a kill pretty much lined up for free. So long as Adam B doesn't turn around, and fortunately enough for him, Mopoj isn't exposed. So a rifle can be recovered. Nikodon is still tucked so tight, and yeah, he didn't have anywhere to run to, but Kristen does at least compensate in hell. Back to 3-on-3.
I mean, Nikodon's even buying that much space for Kristen to make his way over is big, but I don't think they've realized Davig's inside the A-bomb site. And, well, that's where that revelation comes through. Solsol can accelerate up heaven as well. The A-bomb site is once again free for the taking, and this time it feels like it'll be a lot easier to hold on to it as well. Iberian Soul continue to remind us why these pistol buys are potentially deadly. Spook and Fiku still contesting. Closes the gap. Oh, nice headshot. It's not enough. Great adjustment from Fiku as well.
I'd like to say it should probably still be a save. Just because Fiku is so low, but they're still giving it an honest swing.
Well, Fiku's dead now, and Spook, listen, 6 HP and no HP doesn't feel like there's that much of a difference, but 1 versus 2 is just not something he's willing to go for. Really wanted to have someone covering off a defuse if it came down to it, but unfortunately, that won't be an option. Iberian Soul, great access point found by Mopoj. Honestly, that ramp kill unlocks it all.
It's the fact he was able to slide down to the lower side of the map and coordinate with his team to run that sound distraction so he could break the glass. And it tallies up to a crafted opening duel. And a free access point. Ramp just... I don't think I've ever watched a Nuke official between two similarly skilled teams where ramp has been such a heavy footfall area.
Yeah. And very often such a weakness. Speedily out into the open is Davig. This time Nikodos, his victim. Last time it was Krisen. Nikodos thought he could maybe be a little bit bolder, maybe look for a little bit more of a fight.
Yeah, Davig's consistency of success outside has been a little staggering, actually.
Kind of crazy. OG's force spy could still go very right ahead. Position, waiting, pushing forward, though, is a mistake. Prison, HG grenade will do absolutely nothing. Davig is also still waiting. They won't realize how deep he is. Krisen will deal with him, though. There is another Molotov expended. Krisen will be taken down. Smooya makes sure of it, and OG in the process of stacking the lower bomb site, the place where, you know what? There was a lot of footfall coming in from Iberian Soul. It's just, it doesn't matter.
Oh, good reaction there from Spook to get that kill at least. But he'll want to try and save, and oh, well, he realizes the player in spawn, and he did not have his FAMAS anymore. That was a little awkward, and I don't think it could have gone any worse for OG. They committed to a force buy. They went for a gamble after they lose that kill outside. And it blows up in their face. Iberian Soul taking that lead again, but really putting pressure on OG as their money is pretty much shattered.
It ain't pretty.
It should be a guarantee of an overtime at the bare minimum here for Iberian Soul.
Never say never, Michael.
That's why I said should.
Happy? I'll say never, okay? One of us. Oh!
Are you sure about that?
No longer. Definitely waiting around the corner. This is a lot of damage on the Saucel.
They're giving these pistols so much respect.
It's actually kind of crazy. They're giving them so many double peek opportunities over here as well. They keep getting headshot down. But OG have lost a lot of life in the process as well, and as much fun as it may be to speculate about the potential success of USBs, it's going to be 12 is a guarantee for Iberian Soul, even if they do lose a weapon in that process.
They're trying to cut them off, actually, and stop that from happening. You see a player ascend towards the top side of T-spawn. This me as well was trying to cut him off as well, but they actually don't get the sight line they were looking for. So yeah, Spook is out of there. Maybe an AK saved. I don't think anybody should chase too intently.
Yeah. Go all the way back to the spot. Couple of kills, they don't really mean too much. This will be a full buy coming out from Iberian Soul regardless of the situation. Next round shouldn't be too bad for them either, even if they lose over here. OG have an AK to help out. Will that be put to use?
Yeah, the other problem will be that they don't have that AWP, and sure, Nikados is one of those.
He's barely ever had it in this half,
Yeah,
it feels like.
I mean, I think both sides, to be honest, have kind of, you know, Smear's had it maybe more, for sure, in that CT half. But it wasn't doing them a whole lot of good. And we saw the duel outside to Davi G. If Davi G is going to continuously, you know, take these fights past smokes and try and play pacey, an AWP is actually a good weapon to kind of address that type of play.
True. Especially because Nikados has been trying to make outside a major point of presence for himself.
Yeah, that's one of the most threatening things about Iberian Soul. I talk about them being aggressive and having aggressive pieces, sure, but you know, when you really break down how teams typically structure their role system and who's going to entry and what they're going to do, you know, some teams run like defaults, and the people that are the extremities lurkers can sometimes pivot into being an entry fragger.
Yeah.
The way that Iberian Soul structure themselves is like they make a call in the opening 15 seconds, or even from, it seems like almost from spawn as well sometimes, where almost map to map, there's just a different entry. You know, I think back to, you know, Mopo's Inferno, or this time it's Davi G outside, or, you know, I've seen Sol on train, for example. Like, there's just so many different pieces. Alex on Ancient, you know, there's...
Yeah.
It's like
Smuyon into the breach.
Yeah, actually, kind of valid, but I feel like you have to do that out of necessity almost. But like everyone seems to have like a specialist entry map on the squad, which is, you know, kind of good, kind of, you know, it has its pros and cons, right? You know, each of them will have a slightly different play style to them, makes it a little bit harder to conventionally counter. But then if that player has a bad game on a map that's very important, it can mean the world.
That might be what is at stake over here. OG on the verge of being defeated in a map where they felt like they'd already walked the 9 yards, but 2 great kills will give them a little bit more time to put their feet to work. Saucel's 2 entries are all that have found success, but Crimson misses a lot of shots, only to compensate. Smuya left alone. 1 versus 3. Still a lot to fight for. Even a couple of kills would go a long way. The CT side economy would be lambasted. 1 kill found. The second evades him. CTs will be able to bring together a buy in the next round, but forget about having a sniper rifle. OG is still an uphill climb.
Yeah, it just looked like the exec and what Davi was supposed to do on main is actually just sort of miscoordinated. The flashes go out and Davi swings quite late, and by the time he does so, players that were dodging flashes or even hit by them had recovered for the most part. And, you know, from there, it just seemed like OG could keep a hand, or could keep a lid on things, rather, for that execution, because they sort of broken the pacing on the hit. Now, we said that the buy wouldn't be suffering too much, but Iberian Soul are down to some Galils. Awesome optimal weaponry. Kristen, really cheeky move around those smokes, capitalizing on the gap in the waterfall. But a player dives the vents here on Iberian Soul. It was audible. OG should know about it.
Will they be able to address it, though, is the question. It puts a lot more pressure out on the ramp. That's why they've brought in reinforcements. Adam B and Nico will be in one of the most trafficked areas of the map, but Adam B's already lost his life. What a kill from Sossol. Nico fires back, but not for long. 3 versus 2 as OG will lose that advantage, and they might be on the verge of losing this map and their opportunity at Pro League. Molotov forces them away. The HE to pop open the double doors, and flashes could be continuing through. Kristen regroups and recedes back to single. Iberian Soul know that it's all just a waiting game. They can let the time run out. Sossol's got no reason to take a peek. No incendiaries to flush him either. He is the ultimate insurance. And when will he start to swing? Kristen going for the defuse. Sossol needs to come out. He will not be able to get it in time. OG find 12. So after a full map of numbers being found of putting up the kills, unfortunately, it's that very last one that could just cost him the series.
Yeah, he didn't think that he got the kill, but he also thought he pulled them off the defuse. It's the fact he jiggles for the burst and then tucks himself away. That could be a moment that comes back to haunt Iberian Soul and haunt Soul. We run it back straight to this overtime. Nikados this time with that AWP. We'll try and swing in front of the door. We'll blow the smoke twice over, but it doesn't go deep enough.
God.
The spam is on point, though.
Alex fires back. Sossol, how many times are you gonna find this? Sossol, you've got to be kidding me! You were being abused! The CT side, you had kills, but you couldn't hold ramp, and somehow you've come back like a jilted lover.
He's learned their techniques, using them against them.
And now he's silent. He's climbing back up to heaven, and he's got company. Smooya playing oversight, and OG don't know it, but that bomb's about to be planted.
Molly down the vents as well. There can be no fast reaction. It could only be Krisen, but he's so separated, so staggered from the rest of the squad.
Has that ever stopped him before? Feet spotted. Position known. Chances blown. There's no way Nikados comes up here. Surely not.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Well, if he would have lost the up, he could find another one, so won't be easy for him to back off. He'll still have to win a couple of fights in that process, and he can't win them all.
Terrorists win.
I mean, lovely work from Soul. I've been a little critical of him, even with all his high kill count. You know, can't knock him for getting his kills, but on that CT side, had some issues. In this T side, I think it felt more like it was on, you know, pieces like Mopoj or Davi G in terms of finding openers, but in this round, it's pretty much all him. I mean, the entry, the space he gets, and just the opportunity that he creates, those are opportunities that are often fleeting, especially as we get into an OT where each of these rounds is worth its weight in gold.
Oh, Smooya misses out the play. He's not quite had the same bombastic performance. Nikados with the deagle. If the father can't do it, the son will. Oh my god, he's still hunting. He feels so confident. Flashbang won't be giving Sossol the opportunity to drop down. At least, well, it does, but it's not an opportunity he uses. Adam B. Incendiary in hand. Will be able to peek out. Will have the swinging advantage. Nice, clean, wide swing. And Nikados brings it back to a 5-on-2.
Don't know if they're going to find a way out this time. Solsol might have to pull off some magic here at ramp. Probably their best avenue in. This deep position from Adam B is nice, though. Nikodos can take that first contact, and Adam can swing alongside him. 35 seconds, a smoke blooms at their feet, and Solsol does find that entry, but they won't know about Adam. They may be suspicious, but he doesn't reveal until they're all the way down the ramp. Solsol kept his eyes trained on that position the whole damn time, and 20 seconds remain. Solsol finally dealt with. Alex cannot make up for lost ground. A real commendable effort there from Solsol to bring the round back, but OG had that one from the start.
I thought he was about to kill Fiku. I won't lie to you.
I just love that he was just deadlocked on that box as they were descending the ramp.
No, Michael, that's in beta.
How many people would do that?
Crazy. I mean, he's almost up to 30 kills right now. And to think he would have been happy with 25.
Yeah. Well, tag time out here by Iberian Soul. May as well, when you're in these overtimes, you get a new one.
And they're not carried over, don't forget. Can't just pop out 6 tacticals at the same time in, like, the 5th overtime. Blade just retrains his entire team.
Yeah, you're not using a single tactical until I call it.
So far, it has been a game. It would be pretty crazy, yeah. But so far, it's been a game of T-side. The Iberian Soul are hoping to collect 14 in overtime. Alex spotted. Nikodos a straight shot, but he will not be punished. Smooya misses the opportunity. Navigi, the man of many entries, largely an outsider's way. He's found his success. He's snappy.
And that's just going to immediately throw everybody off kilter. I mean, they know that someone is down towards this lower side, and they're going to have to make a reaction. Fiku, a kill back, does put it back to an even keel.
Smith's position is really good, though.
But they've retaken...
For the blind.
I mean, they've got ramp control, and they're going to start pushing door.
This will be a straight collision course. Solsol is ready for it. Smooya trades. Solsol's death immediately returns back, worried about potentially a ramp player. Nikodos isn't expecting someone already inside the site, but Mopos has been good about finding territory. Iberian Soul, that 14th should be collected. Anything short of a miracle from Adam B will be insufficient. Up the ladder he goes. Mopos watching out for that elevated angle. Navigi and Smooya playing safe. Now this contest is inevitable, and Mopos will put Adam to bed. 14 on the board for Iberian Soul. Is it enough?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly feels like it should be, given the way that this game has been going. I mean, T-sides have been able to operate with a bit more freedom than on CT. But yeah, that first half from Iberian Soul was one that they should improve upon coming into this overtime. And if they don't, then they could be in for a world of hurt. Let's see if we get that same confident strut to OG, because they were playing very pacey and very aggressive towards ramp in particular on this T side. Took a while before Iberian Soul started to kind of figure that out. And even then, they were getting caught by some even newer tricks, you know, moments like Spook creeping into credit.
It seems like there's been some change-ups in position as well. Solsol no longer playing ramp. Alex and outside. The fact that he gets even one kill up there is magnificent. Navigi is able to come over fast enough to provide damage on the people. It's not enough for the kill. Krisen, the opposite of his aggression, but Solsol has not changed. Mopos will find a buddy and realize he's dead. Well, that might have been me. 3 versus 3. Fiku, the handicap. 14 HP, crippled by the earlier shots fired. It'll be Krisen to find an access point through garage, but it is something, and Mopos is certainly aware of the possibility.
Yeah, in an ideal world, you want Crizin to, you know, create an opportunity or find space, and he's starting to call that outside is worryingly clear. He needs his teammates to sort of stop freeze and hold on to their spot while he tries to fish for something, but, I mean, they're low and the time is not great, so that kill from Fiku is a necessity.
I mean, it won't be the only kill that he's able to enable. Fiku, 2 kills, and Crizin second is
Wait, they go up the
pretty
vent.
much all courtesy to him as well. They go up the vent, over towards Smuya they go. AWP at the ready, Scope will reveal position. He will not be able to land that shot again. Smuya missing, but it's still the chance. It still really is. He's going to be coming in with a flank on the side. Fiku gets 3, playing distraction while Nika does plant safe. OG bring it back together.
Oh my goodness, that could have blown up in their face. They had no idea where Smuya was. He had a couple of chances, actually, to disrupt that. Just the kill on the cross would have been nice. But even after he dealt with Crizin in heaven, it is very winnable. The fact that Fiku starts deploying this chain of flashes actually threw Smuya off. He got caught blind. Yeah, OG did a great job of just working the map with the time that they had. And Fiku hit an incredible kill. Daffy taking a lot of damage at the start of this round. It was a brawl for door. But not a lot of connections from those CT bullets.
He is taking stairs control. It's also right back over to his old stomping grounds in ramp. That aggression in the last round definitely gave OG a little bit more control than they wanted to provide to them. Smuya waits for aggression to come out. The call from Iberian Soul is straightforward. There will be, at the very least, one player coming over in outside. Smuya, take him down. That's the only way we get the advantage. Davi G is not healthy enough to really put up much of a fight. He smokes through. Spook trying to close the distance. Smuya, very good kill to find, and Alex is still waiting. This is going to be a relay back to hell. And with Smuya being forced off the angle, and HE will not really do too much to Nikados, but Nikados is only in containment. Alex comes in from behind. What a ballsy play. He might be traded, but he gets information, and that's more than its worth in gold. Crizin, unfortunately, though, has not been found. Mopos thought he'd cleared out Hunt, but timing just not working for them, and Davi G's earlier HP loss now comes to bleed him dry. 2 versus 3, and despite the kill from Smuya, despite everything, Sosol is once again the man on whom your hopes lie. And those hopes have been dashed. Smuya alone. 1 versus 3. And opportunities for Iberian Soul seem to have closed out. OG on this T side look like a team reborn.
Smuya will try just to run away with this AWP. He is being pursued and should be taken down. Nikadal is already closing that gap, and it's just a trail of T's running at him. They knew this round was in the bag, and now Iberian Soul will have to make do. They can still, of course, have an AWP, but it will come with some sacrifice. I mean, just once again, OG doing a fantastic job of creating opportunity. Even with the play that Alex makes, you know, Smuya gets a nice kill outside. It's just the fact that they realize where these resources are being put and where the gap is. And OG are capitalizing.
Well, eyes wide shut. It looks like they want to go in for a little bit more of an execute heavy play this time over. With Smokes outside and try and threaten.
It looks like another ramp first.
It's been a lot of very heavy outside play lying on. Sosol positions to a more aggressive angle, but he drops down and he doesn't realize how close he is to death. In fact, that drop down might have saved him. Crizin finds David G elsewhere. He's not been able to transition that success from T-side entering into CT, and Sosol will at least find 1, make it 2. Not bad at all, but Spook and Crizin never slowed down. OG, now that they are so very close to meeting their mark of making stage 2 of the qualifier, Mopos dying to the HE will certainly look to help raise their spirits. Iberian Soul will be going back to that last round of regulation as the best chance, maybe the only chance they had to win this one, because right now Alex feels like he is hopeless and now he is headless. OG take him out 16-14 in that overtime. What a performance from the young international side.
Yeah, I mean, a fantastic showing. I mean, we had convincing starts to both I mean, to this series, both teams picking a